believes in a free market approach to healthcare and risk management. For most of us, Obamacare is not appealing and it's not affordable. Take control of your health. Call Eric Wilson now and start saving with the Pro-Life Health Plan. 815-372-1363. That's 815-372-1363. 815-372-1363.
AM 560, The Answer.
Glad you're with us. Is it possible that some Cubs fans are addicted to losing? Yahoo Sports says that by more than a 4-to-1 ratio, America is rooting for the Cubs to beat the Cleveland Indians. And right now they trail the best-of-7 series, 3-2. At the same time, 1 in 4 diehard Cubs fans say that if their team finally wins the World Series for the first time since 1908, they'll actually miss rooting for a team that's so accustomed to losing. In other words, more than 10,000 of the 42,000 or so at Wrigley last night watching the Cubs win would actually miss a 108-year losing streak should the Cubs finally win it all. According to the same poll, some Cubs fans say losing brings them together. In fact, 86% say there's a camaraderie among Cubs fans that's rooted in a pride associated with cheering for a perennial loser. And while most do want to see the Cubs win in their lifetime, 3% of diehard Cubs fans, diehards, said they actually don't want to see the Cubs win. That'll do it for this hour. For Jennifer Kashenka, I'm Gordon Deal. Thanks for listening to This Morning, America's First News.
Great talent is the driving force behind your successful business. If you don't have the right people in key roles, then you have talent gaps. IMC Solutions identifies those gaps and delivers expertise in recruiting the right talent to fill them, leaving you free to succeed.
Hi, I'm Linda Nichols, founder of IMC Solutions. We're a niche recruiting and staffing firm that specializes in placing human resources and sales professionals. We've created programs that are just right for your small to medium-sized business because we know that you're looking for expertise, but are also looking at the bottom line expenses to your company. You can take advantage of recruiting services that big companies get, but you don't have to pay the big fees. Our programs and solutions are affordable and bring you the people you need.
IMC Solutions understands the unique challenges of your business, making the tough job of hiring easy. Get started on finding your next hire today at imcsolutions.com or call Linda Nichols at 630-637-6200.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. The FBI now has a search warrant. And the latest emails found that may be related to Hillary Clinton's controversial private server while Secretary of State.
Two sources with direct knowledge of this investigation say that laptop was used to back up Huma Abedin's phone multiple times, including all or at least some of her emails. The Wall Street Journal put the number at 650,000. Now, they were uncovered by the FBI office in New York, which is investigating Abedin's estranged husband, Anthony Weiner, for possibly sexting with a minor. Weiner allegedly handed over his laptop on October 3rd. The FBI then searched the metadata on that computer, and according to government sources, it turned up positive hits for state.gov accounts as well as Clinton's emails.
Fox's Kristen Fisher. Democratic Senate Leader Harry Reid is angry. The FBI director disclosed to Congress the investigation was renewed. He says James Comey may have broken a law aimed at preventing federal officials from influencing an election, but Republican Congressman Trey Gowdy counters.
If he had not told us that they had reopened the investigation, then he may be in trouble with Congress, but he certainly would be in trouble with the public. They have a right to know.
Donald Trump keeps making a big deal of this.
Her criminal action was willful, deliberate, intentional, and purposeful.
Hillary Clinton says people have to stay focused and ignore the political noise to stop Trump. The manhunt for an accused killer is over in Oklahoma. Police killed Michael Vance in a shootout after he'd wounded yet another officer. State Highway Patrol Chief Ricky Adams says a farmer tipped them off about a suspicious car.
The sheriff's office and the local department here and our troopers basically had the area secured down fairly quickly.
Vance was wanted for murdering his aunt and uncle and wounding 2 cops. The Cubs stay alive. And the crowd went wild at Wrigley Field watching Chicago win Game 5 of the World Series 3-2, but the Indians still lead the series and can win the championship at home. Game 6 is tomorrow night. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Some clouds this morning. We have 42 degrees at O'Hare and 48 along the lakefront. 5:02 is our time on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Trick-or-treaters here in the Chicago area, northwest Indiana, maybe even parts of Wisconsin. Have some nice weather in store for Halloween. National Weather Service says for most of us, we'll see temperatures in the 60-degree range later today. Cubs have earned themselves a trip to Cleveland, extending the World Series to a 6-game. Aroldis Chapman finishing what John Lester started. The two were magnificent in the Cubs' 3-2 win over the Indians in Game 5, but Chicago also needed a 3-run fourth just to keep that quest alive. Cubs manager Joe Maddon likes their chances along the lakefront.
We get to go over there with 2 rested starting pitchers. Again, from an entertainment perspective, if you're a baseball fan or looking to become a baseball fan, it was wonderful tonight, outstanding. But I like to believe we're going to gain some momentum from this game going back over there.
Game 6 slated for Tuesday, a possible Game 7 at Progressive Field Wednesday. Last night's game at Wrigley Field marked the final contest ever with bullpens in foul territory. The new bullpens under the bleachers are set to open up next season. Ben Zobrist climbed the mound last night, in fact, to catch Jason Kipnis. 7th-inning fly ball. Turning to other news this morning, a federal investigator says engine pieces from that American Airlines plane that caught fire at O'Hare have been found thousands of feet away. Lorinda Ward with the NTSB confirms the fire Friday on a runway caused by engine failure sent pieces of the engine nearly 3,000 feet away into a UPS warehouse. Chicago coming off a very bloody weekend. The Sun-Times reporting at least 16 were killed. Over 3 dozen more wounded in shootings across the city since Friday evening. An investigation continues this morning following a crash near Sugar Grove that killed a man and injured his son. Esteban Velasquez was driving on Jericho Road Saturday when he lost control and slammed into a tree just west of Route 47. The father and the 8-year-old had to be cut from that vehicle. NHL last night as we track Chicago sports. Blackhawks look to be riding the ship nicely. 3-0 winners over the Kings. Corey Crawford, 32 saves. The top of the AP Top 25 football poll looks just a bit like last week's. Alabama, the new number 1, and they'll keep that spot with Michigan number 2, Clemson 3, and Washington 4. Professional football. It'll be the Vikings and the Bears in a scary Monday night football contest tonight. At Soldier Field, Jay Cutler makes his return for the 1 and 6. Bears and the Bulls are back in action tonight at Brooklyn. The news, the service of Staples with low prices on ink, toner, and printers. The redesigned lightning-fast HP OfficeJet Pro is now at Staples, and you can save up to $100 for a limited time. See store or staples.com for details. Restrictions and limitations apply. Staples, make more happen. 5:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The mainstream media has a duty and an obligation to cover this election fairly. Does it seem fair to you? Or do we see more coverage about the problems of one side than the problems for the other side? When the so-called journalists put their thumb on the scale and attempt to influence the most important election of our lifetime, it makes you wonder, what do we have to do to win? There's only one thing left to do. Make sure you and like-minded people go vote. It's the only way to stop them from tipping the scales. The host on this station will keep reminding you right till the end. AM 560, The Answer.
Peter forgot to order supplies for the office, and the boss is not happy.
Peter, we're out of toilet paper.
I'm sorry, boss. I'll order supplies right now. They should be here by next week.
Next week?
Peter really needs to call Combined Sales. Combined Sales has the products and solutions your business can't live without. From paper to pens, packaging, janitorial and safety supplies, and food service, Combined Sales to the rescue. They're local and can get you the supplies needed to keep your business running smoothly, fast, and at a great price. Plus, you'll deal with real people, not just another faceless internet site. You'll have an outside rep, an inside rep, and a customer service rep. Right now, Combined Sales has a presidential offer for new customers. This is huge! Open a business account today, order $500 in supplies, and you'll earn 5% in Co-op reward dollars on all purchases for the next 3 months. Plus, receive a bonus $50 Co-op reward. Request an account set up today at CombineSales.com. CombineSales.com.
Mike Rowe here for 1 hour. Today, Chuck is jogging in place to make a point about energy efficiency.
I thought I was training for a marathon.
He's been at it now for...
3 minutes.
And already he's wearing out.
I'm not.
Your heating and air conditioning systems are a lot like Chuck.
Warm yet somehow cool?
Wheezing, wasting energy, and probably headed for replacement.
You're talking about the air systems, right?
Sure, pal. Sure. Call 1 hour before it's too late.
Can you do the disclaimer for me?
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Thanks.
Check it out, it's the Terminator. Hey, when'd you get back, huh?
Did you have to shoot anyone?
Why are you so distant? Are you not happy to see me?
So what's the deal? You gonna get a job now or what?
Why are you being so jumpy? Put all that stuff behind you, okay?
No one knows what it's like to come back from Iraq or Afghanistan unless they were there. Join other veterans at communityofveterans.org because we know where you're coming from. Brought to you by Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America and the Ad Council.
I can't get the alarm company on the phone to save my life. My alarm's going off all the time, and I don't know why. It's driving me crazy.
Call Alarm Detection Systems. We have live reps answering phones 24/7, 365. No auto attendant. Call 630-844-6300. Give us your business and get better customer service in return. Visit adsalarm.com. Alarm license number 127000143.
I'm living alone for the first time in 40 years, and I'm worried something might happen to me.
Live independently with Alarm Detection Systems. We offer medical alert devices with 24/7 emergency assistance monitoring. Setup is easy, and a live professional is waiting to assist you. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
I know a perfect Christmas gift. Did you guess it? Yep, it's MyPillow. And MyPillow will extend the money-back guarantee through March. Plus, if you buy one premium MyPillow, you'll still get the second one and 2 additional Go Anywhere MyPillows for free. So you're actually getting 2 premium and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows for the price of only one with an extended money-back guarantee. It's the best offer ever. The National Sleep Foundation made MyPillow their official pillow. It's washable to remove germs that cause allergies, acne, and asthma. And you'll sleep better. Visit MyPillow.com, click the radio listener special tab, and use the promo code Joe. You'll get 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere for the price of one, plus the extended money-back guarantee through March for your Christmas gifts. Or you can call 1-800-489-0201, mention the radio listener special, and be sure to use the promo code Joe. That's MyPillow.com or 1-800-489-0201.
Our time is 5:10. Let's get an update on the roads this morning. Waiting patiently in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. On the outbound Stevenson, we see delays Pulaski to Cicero after some overnight work and some midway traffic mixed in. It's just a 3 or 4 minute delay. Inbound, it's fine. The other expressways and tollways are great. West Chicago got a crash at Roosevelt and Crest. There's still some parking bans in effect on the north side in areas from River North up to Wrigleyville. After the Cubs last night, there's still some parking bans in areas with a lot of bars. It should all be lifted by 6 this morning. Traffic is a service of Subway. Coming to Subway this Thursday, November 3rd, and get a free sub when you buy any sub and any drink. Plus, Subway will donate a meal to Feeding America for each sub purchased. So help a hungry community. Buy one, get one free, and help feed America. Only at Subway. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer is next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Breezy with partial sunshine today, high 60, then a partly cloudy and breezy night. Wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour near the lake. A low 57 with temperatures rising into the middle 60s overnight. Sun and clouds for tomorrow, high 74 and a low 55. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
39 at O'Hare, 51 along Chicago's lakefront, the cold spot right now, 34 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 5:30. Continuous news coverage at 560theanswer.com. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, powered by Tandem HR and sponsored by Everett College Funding. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Amy's still celebrating in Wrigleyville, so she'll be here momentarily. But that gives us some time to talk about something other than the Cubs, because I know she's going to be focused on that. Stratomatic, thy will be done, Mike Scott.
I think so.
5 games in the books. Stratomatic has 5 outcomes correct. The difficult thing to tell Cubs fans is what Stratomatic predicts for Game 6. Yeah. That would be the same thing as Dan Proft predicted in Game 6, which is Cleveland wraps up the championship in Game 6. The projected score Stratomatic had for Game 5, 2-0. So 3-2, pretty close. Directionally correct in all the games. Exactly correct on Friday.
Friday, yeah.
1-0.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly correct. That was the predicted score for Cleveland. And the other bad news for the Cubs, of course, is John Lester, their best postseason starter, pitched last night.
Yeah.
Drone Boy Bauer, Cleveland's worst postseason starter, pitched last night. So the incline gets steeper in terms of the quality of Cleveland starters, as well as the fact that they're playing at home.
538, I think, has them trending has the odds trending in Cleveland's favor right now, based on the pitching line and based on the fact that in spite of yesterday's mini explosion of runs, the runs are just not adding up in the right places. As I looked on 538 this morning, for the Cubs in places where they need to get production from right now.
Yeah, they just scrape 3 runs together to barely hang on, and Aroldis Chapman had to make the longest appearance of his career, 2 2/3, right?
Pretty heroic.
Yeah,
good outing.
And it's great. So it's like if you saw the 7th inning stretch with Eddie Vedder, which was great. That senior citizen female who is like dancing in the bleachers. I get that, and I get rooting for her for a Cubs championship for her. Totally get that. Totally supportive of that. The problem I have is now what you have at the World Series, and Amy Jacobson, dyed-in-the-wool Cubs fan, even admits this. You've got a bunch of effete, tiny dancers supporting pseudo-intellects who think the ring cycle is a series of Peter Jackson movies that, show up and they pretend to be baseball fans, and now at work today they're going to pretend to be stoked. And some of them, the more wealthy, will probably travel to Cleveland. And it's just, who could be supportive of that?
I think the problem is that there's a good chunk of folks who've supported the Cubs over the years who have not been baseball fans, who have been there for the architecture or there for the grass or there for the party.
The grass. And that's a double entendre.
I'm sorry. Did not mean to make that so early in the morning. They just have not been there for the baseball. And during the World Series, not during the earlier rounds of the playoffs, during the World Series, it shows up. Those who...
That's why they don't know when to stand the games. That's why it's a little confusing. You got to follow the leader. Whatever Bill Murray's doing, everybody else does.
Right. Not taking nothing away from a man who is definitely a gentleman baseball fan, Mr. Murray.
No, exactly. No, I mean, he's a baseball fan, but, unfortunately... Most of his brethren at the friendly confines are, sorority boys and fraternity girls. So the Cubs making a comeback. Trump making a bit of a comeback, too. Who would have thought the October surprise would come from Jim Comey's FBI? Who would have thunk it? And, of course, the Democrats are howling. Perhaps the most entertaining reaction to the sonic boom that went off on Friday with the FBI reopening, reactivating, choose the descriptor of your choice, was the admonition from outgoing Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid to Jim Comey, suggesting that he may be in violation of the Hatch Act for trying to influence a federal election, that he's using his position as FBI director to electioneer. That's essentially what Harry Reid has accused Jim Comey of with respect to this decision as it relates to these emails. Listen to Trey Gowdy's reaction to the Reid letter when he was on Special Report with Bret Baier on Friday.
To Jim Comey, your actions in recent months have demonstrated a disturbing double standard for the treatment of sensitive information and what appears to be a clear intent to aid one political party over the other. I'm writing to inform you that my office has determined that these actions may violate the Hatch Act, which bars FBI officials from using their official authority to influence an election. Through your partisan actions, this is Harry Reid, you may have broken the law. The double standard established by your actions is clear. Your reaction, Congressman?
Thank God he's leaving is my initial reaction. My second reaction is I did not know Mormons use drugs, and anyone who is capable of sending out that press release has to be under the influence of something. The person responsible for this fact pattern is Secretary Clinton. Jim Comey did not tell her to use a private server.
Oh, boy. How about Trey Gowdy? The gloves are officially off. Yeah, of course, it's absurd. It's absurd, but the same Democrats that were cheering Jim Comey as a career prosecutor and dedicated public servant who plays it by the books, and Jim Comey and his team gave the email matter a thorough review, and they said there was nothing to see here, even kind of recasting the extreme recklessness comment or extreme carelessness comment that he made in announcing his decision not to refer for charges. He was, somebody who was beyond politics when he made a decision that comported with Hillary's interests. Now he is a political hack in the tank for Republicans, that he has made a decision that does not comport with Hillary's electoral interests. It's a fascinating turn. It's typical of the left, which is when my interests change, so do my ethics. And so now Jim Comey, you've read them over the weekend. He is besieged by Democrats. Harry Reid threatening that he has violated the Hatch Act, just the most perhaps ridiculous example of it. And so over the weekend, this obviously dominated the Sunday talk shows. And so in response to this, you've got Robbie Mook. He was on the Sunday talk shows. That's Hillary's campaign manager, the Dickensian named Robbie Mook. And they even trotted out John Podesta.
They did.
Yeah, this was real. This is serious damage control when they got to yank Podesta off the golf course to talk to Jake Tapper. So let's start with Podesta, because everybody asked Podesta and Robbie Mook the same question. Well, have you talked to Uma? And there's no answer to that question. Listen to this Podesta-Tapper exchange.
So as part of this Judicial Watch lawsuit, Huma Abedin had to testify under oath, and she said, quote, I looked for all the devices that may have had any of my State Department work on it and returned, gave them to my attorneys for them to review for all relevant documents, and gave them devices and paper. Obviously, this other computer was not included in that group. Have you asked Abedin why she did not turn over this computer that is now being reviewed by the FBI?
Look, I think Huma's been completely cooperative with the authorities, and they've recognized that. She's worked with her attorneys to turn over relevant material, but we don't know what this is all about, really. So it's very hard.
But John, she hasn't been completely cooperative if she didn't turn over every device that had State Department emails on them, and this one computer did.
I think it's clear that she complied to the best of her ability, turned everything over that she had in her possession.
We're going to find out what it's all about, John Podesta, because the FBI yesterday did obtain a warrant to search emails related to the probe of Hillary Clinton's private server that were discovered on Carlos Danger's wife, or on Carlos Danger's laptop. So Uma is in hiding, and the news you may have heard over the weekend, Loretta Lynch was trying to spike it. She wouldn't authorize the search warrant. Well, that's past post. That search warrant is coming. That search warrant is here, and the search is coming, I should say. So that's the response. And then Tapper presses Podesta again. Well, just have you asked Uma? You're pretending to speak for her and what she did or didn't do. Well, have you just asked her?
Have you talked to her? Have you asked Huma Abedin what is on that computer and why she didn't turn it over when she said she had divided all the devices?
We don't know what computer Mr. Comey is talking about. You're assuming a lot of facts that we don't know. So I think that, as I said, she's been fully cooperative with the authorities, and they have recognized that. And I think that we could sit here and speculate and put facts into the record based on.
I'm not speculating, sir.
Reports.
Our reporting is that it was a laptop computer that belonged to Anthony Weiner, and they found State Department emails on that laptop. That's reporting. That's not speculation. You have access to Huma Abedin. I don't. Have you asked her how this happened?
I don't think she knows anything more than what we've seen in the press to date. So, I'm sure if people. Proper authorities want to ask her questions, they'll ask her questions, but she's been fully cooperative in this investigation.
That is how much jeopardy the Clinton campaign is, that a seasoned politico like John Podesta is throwing up all over himself to try and answer a simple question: have you spoken with Huma Abedin? And it gets worse from there. We'll pick it up on the other side.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Oh, look who's back from her Wrigleyville revelry.
I'm bearing gifts, too. That'll be later in the program. Today, partly sunny and breezy for the big Cub victory lap going on at Wrigley Field right now, a high of 60 degrees. Tonight, where it's not going to be cold, it's going to be a low of 57. And tomorrow, warmer with some sun and clouds. Perfect day for your tea time, Dan. 74 degrees. Tea time. And then on Wednesday, it's going to be cloudy and a couple of showers. So enjoy today and tomorrow. Let's see if there's anything enjoyable on the roadways. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Well, good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Right now, we've got delays on the outbound Stevenson, Pulaski to Cicero. Little airport traffic there going to Midway. It's just about a 3-minute delay. Inbound I-57 slow starting 103rd. 19 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford at 17. The other expressways and tollways are looking pretty good right now. There's still some parking bans to the north side in areas with a lot of bars. After the Cubs game, those parking bans should lift at 6 this morning. Of course, you'll Bears traffic tonight. They're playing at home against the Vikings at Soldier Field and all those trick-or-treaters after school. So keep that in mind later. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Is the election and all its uncertainty causing you sleepless nights? If you're worried about the effect of what a new president in office will have in your portfolio, you're not alone. It's time to consider Online Trading Academy. They'll teach you how to navigate the stock market and show you the tools and techniques to prepare you for any outcome, even in this presidential election. Online Trading Academy certified instructors teach you a rules-based strategy. You'll learn to trade on knowledge and identify market changes before they happen. So reserve your seat today for a free half-day training course at their education facility in Lombard. Just text the word income to 313131. That's income to 313131. Text now. An Online Trading Academy will secure your seat and send you a free home video study course valued at $247. So text income to 313131 now.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. Bev was self-employed when she called me to refinance last year, but I couldn't help her because she didn't make any money. Bev shut down her business, secured a salary job, and called to pay off over 50 G's of credit card debt she accumulated keeping her business afloat. I helped Bev refinance to pay off all her debt and reduced her payments over $2,000 a month. A lot of listeners think you have to wait 6 months after securing a job to get a mortgage. Wrong! If you're now receiving a salary after being self-employed and would like to pay off debt to lower your monthly payments like Bev did, give me a call at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. I've helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License D4358, RMLA, NMLS 19186.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so just picking up on the damage control that was efforted by the Clinton camp over the weekend. You heard from Podesta. Well, Robbie Mook. He
what did Robbie Mook do?
He made the rounds as well.
Yeah.
And they have no idea Nobody has any idea what this could all be about, who this is about, the computer. I mean, despite all the reporting, despite the search warrant that was confirmed on Sunday.
They're acting like victims, too. Like, oh, poor us. I mean, right before the election.
A protocol was broken.
It's not fair. Oh, no, this is the first time this has ever happened in the history of the world.
Except that's not true, and we'll get to that. But the protocol. Oh, a protocol. Oh, you want to talk about protocols? What about having like a private home brew server if you're a Secretary of State? Is that a protocol at minimum that was broken? These protocol observers now?
She brought this all upon herself, and she has nobody to blame but herself. But of course, they're not saying that. But the fact that all this possibly classified and deleted emails ended up on Anthony Weiner's laptop. That he is sick. I mean, you talk about a sexual predator, that's the real sexual predator. You can't ever call Donald Trump a predator ever again because he's the one who's got I mean, he was sexting that 16-year-old girl in North Carolina.
Yeah, so that's the stroking gun, as the New York Post headline writers.
Oh, what is it today?
Stroking. Well, that was over the weekend. Stroking gun. We'll go over your favorite New York Post wiener headlines soon enough, and take your wiener jokes all morning. I've got my own. But to Robbie Mook, look, here's what they're doing. They're going after Comey, and they're going after him from the pretend position of moral superiority, which, of course, is what the left does. Hey, we just want transparency. Get it all out. Let everybody see everything. That's what we need so that we can understand what's happening here.
We were very surprised letter, and what we're asking at this point is that Director Comey just get all the information out on the table, all of it, so that the American people can judge for themselves. This issue was vetted through for...
Yeah, so they just get it all out, and the reason they're saying get it all out is because they know it's not coming out. So that's the position. There's the new Wall Street Journal report of the weekend. There's 650,000 emails to go through, potentially. So you think that's going to happen between now and Election Day? Of course not. So they take the position.
Put all the agents on it. If they really,
no,
I mean,
that's not going to happen. And so the point is,
you plow through about 1,000 emails a day.
Well,
I mean, you do.
Well, okay.
So if they get all their agents,
everything stops at the FBI.
Yeah, get off of what you're working on and sit down and go through this paperwork.
Don't worry about those counterterrorism investigations you're doing. You have to read Anthony Weiner's explicit emails. I mean, by the way, do you imagine? Here's my first wiener joke.
Okay, here we go.
Can you imagine how many pseudonyms they're going to discover going through all those wiener emails? Right. I think Carlos Danger and T-Dog is just the tip of the wiener.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's my opener.
Tip of the wiener.
Ed in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, Dan, he just said it that nothing's going to come of this email. I mean, you didn't say that, but they're not going to release what's in those emails because they can't even. I don't even think it's more. I mean, it's probably more than 650,000, and who's going to read that? I think they're covering up more for the Clinton Foundation. So I think Comey marched out there, did his little thing, and no one's talking about the Clinton Foundation, which is actually the biggest story here, which is more.
Ed,
it's the biggest crime syndicate.
Stop being so fatalistic. You have a Democrat nominee for president who will go into an election day under a cloud of a criminal investigation, under the prospect of being indicted after her potential election. I'd say that's the bigger issue. Thanks, Ed.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Mary Beth. I had a failed root canal, and it was causing me pain. Dr. Neruzzi took care of my tooth, and I got my implant, and then I had another after that fail, and he did that one as well. And the experience they were amazing. It was not painful at all like I thought it was going to be, and I was very, very, very nervous about the whole thing. Nobody enjoys getting, implants or dental work, and I procrastinated, but I had to have it done. And he took me in immediately and took care of it. And he made it really affordable. They're very accommodating to people that cannot afford to have it done. I would recommend Dr. Neruzzi to anybody, and I have given him referrals. My own sister had hers done by him.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
For missing teeth, dental implants are wonderful. The advantages are fantastic. Just remember, implantsforme.com. Implantsforme.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, did the FBI director throw Donald Trump a lifeline?
And should Democrats ask Hillary Clinton to step aside? John Cass in the Tribune makes the argument over the weekend. We'll pour over it at 5:38.
But first, let's go into the newsroom and say good Monday morning to Mike Scott.
Amy, good morning. Dan as well. 47. Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid contends FBI Director James Comey may have broken the law when discussing the reopening of the probe into Hillary Clinton's private email server. Meantime, Hillary Clinton campaign manager Robbie Mook on damage control saying the FBI director needs to come forward with more.
All we're asking for now is let's just get all the information out there on the table.
Mm-hmm.
There's hypotheticals flying all over the place.
Comey telling Congress last week the Bureau has new information, reportedly after finding emails from Clinton aide Huma Abedin during an investigation into her husband. Donald Trump says Hillary Clinton is playing the victim card well following the FBI's new reveal.
Hillary Clinton is not the victim, by the way. She's not the victim. You, the American people, are the victims of this corrupt system in every way. And this is your last chance to change it.
At a rally in Colorado, the GOP nominee says newly discovered emails from Clinton's time as Secretary of State could be a bombshell of corruption. An accused murderer is dead following a shootout with authorities in western Oklahoma. 38-year-old Michael Vance was killed last night while law enforcement was investigating a possible sighting. During that shootout, a Dewey County Sheriff's deputy was shot in the arm. 22 are hurt after a car slams into them following a NASCAR race in Virginia. It happened right outside the Martinsville Speedway yesterday. Pope Francis makes his first ever visit to Sweden today. Pope joining Lutheran leaders commemorating the 500th anniversary of the Protestant Reformation. 2 racially charged trials are set to begin in South Carolina. Jury selection today in the trial for white ex-police officer Michael Slager, who's charged with murder in the deadly shooting of an unarmed black motorist. Meantime, later on November 7, the trial for white supremacist Dylan Roof will begin. Last night, the Cubs earned themselves a return trip to Cleveland, extending the World Series to a 6th game with a 3-2 win. Chicago coming off a bloody weekend, 16 killed, over 3 dozen more wounded in shootings across the city. NHL last night, Blackhawks over the Kings, 3-0. Monday Night Football, Bears and Vikings. The news is service of Staples with low prices on ink, toner, and printers. Redesigned lightning fast HP OfficeJet Pro is now at Staples, and you can save up to $100 for limited time. See store or staples.com for details, restrictions, or limitations that may apply. Staples make more happen. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sometimes there'd be like
some Republicans to the mat.
More and more Republicans are suddenly telling Trump to stop complaining about a rigged system in this election. You know why? Because of all the spineless Republicans who are refusing to help get this guy across the finish line and stop Hillary Clinton. And you know what? Frankly, I allege that's part of the rigged system too.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9.
The American people deserve to get the full and complete facts immediately. The director himself has said he doesn't know whether the emails referenced in his letter are significant or not. Therefore, it's imperative that the Bureau explain this issue in question, whatever it is, without any delay. You know, I think people a long time ago made up their minds about the emails. I think that's factored into what people think, and now they're choosing a president. Some of you may have heard about a letter that the FBI director sent out yesterday. It's pretty strange to put something like that out with such little information right before an election. In fact, it's not just strange, it's unprecedented, and it is deeply troubling.
He looked at me different. The way he hugged me was different. It was just a totally different experience where that's where I kind of just was stunned going, what the heck does he think this is? I was 21, but I'm not scared. I've been through scarier things in my past that I feel like this is really not.
This is bigger than Watergate. The American people fully understand her corruption. Justice at last can be delivered. This is the biggest political scandal since Watergate. And it's everybody's deepest hope. Hillary has nobody but herself to blame. Haven't we had enough drama with the Clintons? The Department of Justice is fighting with the FBI. That's because the Department of Justice is trying their hardest to protect the criminal activity of Hillary Clinton. I just spoke to our future vice president, and he's okay. Do you know he was in a big accident with a plane? The plane skidded off the runway.
Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next.
It's amazing for me. Everyone knows this is a dream come true for me. To be able to do this and play like this in Wrigley, but then to go have a game like this and impact the actual series is all that more special.
57 overnight. 39 at O'Hare. Right now, 51 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. On AM 560.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grill My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grill My Retirement with Bill Geiger.
That's his first RBI in this World Series. This place is shaking.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, it's bigger than Watergate. It's Mastergate.
Oh! Where'd you get that?
Should Democrats ask Hillary to step aside? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line. That's what John Cass argues in the Tribune over the weekend. He writes, if ruling Democrats hold themselves to the high moral standards they impose on the people they govern, they would follow a simple process. They would demand that Mrs. Clinton step down immediately and let her vice presidential nominee.
Ugh. That's frightening.
Suburban dad on the down low, my description. Stand in her place, Tim Kaine. What if she is elected, Cass writes, think of a nation suffering a bad economy and continuing chaos in the Middle East and now also facing a criminal investigation as president. Add to that the congressional investigations and a public vision of Clinton as a Nixonian figure wandering the halls, wringing her hands. See, that's the thing. For all these, and we had the Freedom Summit on Saturday.
Yes, and thanks to everyone who attended.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great event. And
your media rumble was, I thought some chairs were going to be thrown.
Literally a rumble. Sebastian Gorka, Alan West, Michelle Malkin. Of course, this was the topic of conversation and will be through the duration of the campaign. But the conservatives or center-right folks, Trump supporters, who are kind of like, oh, nothing to see here. Oh, Comey sucks. Oh, this is...
No, they're duplicate emails. That's what I heard on Saturday too.
They're so fatalistic.
This is a big deal.
Do you not think that someone who is under the cloud of a federal criminal investigation as they're assessed for president of the United States, do you not think that is a watershed moment in the campaign? I do.
Well, the thing is, my liberal lady friends actually are starting to care now because this is something salacious. This is something tabloid. This is low.
Salacious?
Because it involves Anthony Weiner.
Well, of course.
And the fact that pervert and the real sexual predator had access to possibly classified information.
Well,
or it could have been duplicate emails that were already deleted. That's what, they have to read through and figure that out.
Cass goes on to write, if you take a step back from tribal politics, you'll see Mrs. Clinton has clearly DQ'd herself from ever coming near classified info again. If she were a young person, straight out of grad school, hoping to land a government job, Hillary Clinton would be laughed out of Washington with her record. She'd never be hired. If a presidential election is as much about the people as it is about the candidates, then we'll learn plenty about ourselves in the coming days, won't we? Won't we indeed? This is a different kind of mirror test with the reopening of this investigation. And also, contemplate this. You think Jim Comey rushes to reopen this investigation if he's not in a race to the courthouse with WikiLeaks or local authorities in New York investigating Weiner and happening upon this?
Yeah, that's what happened. Apparently, they found the emails, went to Comey Thursday night. They had a secret meeting and presented this information to him. And he had to make a decision. But other people in the agency said, don't do it. Don't come forward. This is unprecedented. We don't.
Well, that's a mixed bag. You've also had a rash of resignations in the FBI since he chose not to refer her for charges. So there's internal dissension in the FBI, to say the least, it seems, from all the reporting I've seen. But do you think Comey makes this decision if he doesn't have something substantial? If he doesn't have something that if this were to come out after the election, people would be like, how did you not bring this to the public's attention? I think it has to be something substantial. So does a former assistant FBI director. His name is Jim Kallstrom. He was on with Jeanine Pirro over the weekend on Fox, and he said this.
I think there's something happening. I mean, people are asking me, what is this about? I think something big is going to happen. I don't know what it is.
In the next 10 days.
It's just my gut feeling.
In the next 10 days.
Yeah, I think so.
So he wouldn't have come out unless he knew it was coming out.
Well, I think he couldn't hold on to it any longer. Right. Okay? Because who knows? I mean, maybe the locals would have stepped in on this thing.
New York City would have done it. That's my take.
Who knows? And then he'd really be in the doghouse.
He'd be embarrassed big time. I think.
So he was between a rock and a hard place, perhaps.
According to ABC, they said it's been a long tradition for the FBI not to take action so close to an election for fear it would seem like meddling.
This is the protocol argument. Right.
Right.
And except that's not true. I mean, it's true that that's this protocol. It's not true that it hasn't been violated. Jeanine Pirro, since I just mentioned her.
She's an attorney.
And she was also a candidate for Attorney General in New York State.
Uh-huh.
And shortly before her election in New York State, she was put on, the story broke that she was under FBI investigation. And she argues that it obviously negatively impacted her candidacy and that election in terms of her chances. She actually defended Hillary Clinton. She went after Jim Comey because she
knows what it's like.
Has experienced it. Yeah, listen to Jeanine Pirro.
No reasonable prosecutor would indict 11 days before one of the most hotly contested presidential elections of our time both disgraces and politicizes the FBI and is symptomatic of all that is wrong in Washington. Comey's actions violate not only long-standing Justice Department policy, the directive of the person that he works under, the Attorney General, but even more important, the most fundamental rules of fairness and impartiality.
Yeah, because she's been stung by it. But here's the thing. The fact that she's been stung by it says this protocol has been violated before. You know what else? You remember the 1992 election? Do you remember the October surprise of the 1992 election? All of you Lakeview liberal friends of Amy and others who are flacking for Hillary by rinsing and repeating this pathetic talking point that's promulgated by Moog and Podesta and her friends, Jamie Gorelick in a Washington Post op-ed we'll get to in a second. Remember what happened there? Cap Weinberger was indicted a few days before the election. Former Reagan Secretary of Defense. An indictment that was set aside. Nothing ever came of it. But listen to Bill Clinton and Al Gore a few days before the 1992 election that some argue through the election, this indictment, through the election to Clinton Gore. Listen to these two back in the day when it was in their interests.
And all along, the Clinton campaign has been trying to make an issue of George Bush's credibility. The revelations today about Iran-Contra played right into that theme.
Today's disclosure that President Bush knew and approved of the arms for hostages deal with Iran not only directly contradicts the president's claims, it diminishes the credibility of the presidency. It raises the question, first and most importantly, about whether he's told the truth in this campaign and for the last 5 years. And secondly, it raises the whole question of his support for the policy. But the far more important thing is whether for 5 years he's been telling the American people something about his conduct of foreign policy as vice president which was simply not true.
We now have the evidence, the smoking gun memorandum, the clear proof that what George Bush has said about his role in creating one of the worst, most embarrassing catastrophes in American foreign policy is simply untrue. How can he now ask the American people to trust him?
See any parallels there? How about that?
Wow. Where did you find that?
You
You're
know.
pretty smart.
Yeah.
Digging deep.
Got to have a little institutional memory in this game because the left is always moving around. Greg and Schomburg, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Couple things. First of all, Comey screwed this up in July. And the question, going back to your protocol argument, Dan, is why would he do it now? And here's my theory. Number one, he got pressured by the Justice Department. That whole thing was a conspiracy. Comey knows he's culpable for a cover-up. And the big factor that's happened since all of this was Wiki. Wiki has exposed the fact that by skirting the BlackBerry system, which she should have been nailed for at that point in time, the emails are not only on Wiener's computer, they're on everybody else's. They're equivalent to a downloaded Outlook, just like you guys got on your own computer or a Gmail account. That's it.
Well, thanks for the call, Greg. Interesting. I mean, what about this? What about if Uma had the 33,000 missing emails, and it was they were uploaded to Wiener's computer because Hillary Clinton wanted to preserve them.
Oh, that's a possibility.
What about that? I mean, I don't know. It's speculation, but again, I think it's
Leave it in the hands of that pervert, though.
Well,
that shared laptop they had.
I think it's logical to assume that Comey has something that he's willing to stake his career on, because whatever it is, it's going to come out. And Comey is not a dumb individual. Let's go to Tony on the South Side. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Ann. Good morning, Amy. Listen, you know what? Mook and all of these Hillary flacks out there saying how it's unfair to bring this up before the election because it's, for Hillary. I don't care about Hillary. I care about the American people. They have the right to know if this lady's got some dirt on her. And for them to walk around on the Sunday talk shows and say it's just ridiculous. I don't get it, man.
Tony, could you please say Robbie Mook? Tony. All right. I'm putting our listeners on notice.
What?
If you're going to invoke Robbie Mook's name, you have to say it properly. Give them a demonstration. Thank you. That's the way you have to say it.
I think we sound the same when we say it.
Randy in Crown Point.
Morning, guys. 2 quick points. Remember Senator Stevens? He gave us the health care law because of their trumped-up nonsense, indicted, convicted, then everything thrown out. Had he been reelected in 2008, we would not have Obamacare plus many other lovely things that were thrown down our face. So we have to really look at that. But then also, did you listen to Pat Goodell and Doug Schoen yesterday? And these are two in-the-tank, dyed-in-the-wool Democrats all the way back to the Nixon era and Watergate. And these two individuals sat yesterday afternoon and said, I don't know if I can go with this lady now. And these are people, especially Doug Schoen. He worked for Bill. He's been part of the Clinton-Easta forever. And these two men have stood up and said, wait a minute, she may just very well be a liar, and I can't trust her. That's kind of earth-moving from my point of view.
All right, thanks for the call, Randy. Well, it's not only that. You've got this other issue, 18 U.S. Code, Section 2071.
Oh, can you put that back on my desk?
Violator. I know you're always reading the Federal Register. This is very studious. A violator of this statute shall forfeit his office and be DQ'd from holding any office in the United States. Whoever, having the custody of any such record, proceeding, map, book, document, paper, or other thing, willfully and unlawfully conceals, removes, mutilates, obliterates, falsifies, or destroys the same shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 3 years, or both, and shall forfeit his office and be disqualified from holding any office under the United States. So if Hillary Clinton were to be indicted and convicted of misconduct regarding her emails, she'd obviously have to forfeit her office. But even the specter of indictment, does it not disqualify her? John Cass thinks so. I think so.
Problem is that early voting already began, and 18.6 million people have already voted.
Yeah, well, that's true. There's a lot more to vote. Jim in Palos Park. Hey, Jim. Jim in Palos Park, yes.
Hey, Jim, Palos Park.
Yes.
How are you, Dan?
Good.
I really appreciate your intelligence. That's why I listen to you instead of that other morning people now.
All
but
right,
anyway,
Eric and Kathy miss you.
16, I hear that 16 states have voter machines that are somehow partially paid for by George Soros of all people, and of course Cook County voting machines were made in Venezuela. $15 little app, and now you can switch the vote in a second. So do you think that's anything to think about? I've asked before 3 times. I don't have time to wait because I own 3 trucks and drive one. But
I don't like, thanks for the call, Jim. I don't like George Soros' products involved in our elections, I'll say that. But that alone is not enough. There has to be more evidence. And I've seen some of the stories about, you press the Republican and it registers the Democrat. We had that in Cook County a couple cycles ago, too. I've seen no evidence that it's pervasive. So that's my answer. Gunnar in Winthrop Harbor.
Yeah, hi, Dan and Amy. If a voter has already voted and these emails from Hillary change their mind, are they able to change their vote in any way?
No do-overs, Gunnar. Sorry.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. AM 560 on-target radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook, and lunch are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invites you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
Hey, you've heard the name Turnkey IT for years on this radio station, and you know that they do something with IT for business. The truth is that Turnkey IT supporters, they support users, not simply computer devices. Now, the average consumer now has just under 4 connected devices that they use daily. Smartphone, tablets, laptops, desktops, and these devices connect to fitness devices, watches, thermostats, heck, even refrigerators. So the professionals at Turnkey IT help you connect all of them together so your company is as connected as you want it to be. Turnkey IT has a great team of professionals who help users every day just like you and me. From the simplest to the most complex systems, they make technology workable, usable, and reliable. So if you're tired of just settling for technology and you want to really make your technology work for you, visit turnkey.pro today to see how simple and really affordable it can be. So go to turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro.
This is Bob.
Hi, I'm Bob.
His company put their trust in Air Comfort to keep their business running cool all summer. Bob knows the value of proper chiller maintenance that includes end-of-season service, so he'll be ready for next summer.
I'm ready.
Dave, on the other hand, thought he could put off servicing his chiller at the end of last season and had 3 complete shutdowns this summer. Needless to say, his staff and customers were not happy. Moral of the story? Preventative maintenance will save you time, money, and trouble. As the hot weather ends, you need maintenance on your chiller before the start of next season. Air Comfort has one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with a dedicated factory-trained chiller department that takes a scientific approach to analyzing your system and determining any needed maintenance. They know how to work on large equipment, perform an analysis of your chiller, and get you ready for next season. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity. The juxtaposition of the elite's reactions to the James O'Keefe undercover videos with Donald Trump's debate answer that he would reserve judgment on accepting the outcome of the election is terribly instructive. The D.C. press corps' philosopher kings howled that by withholding his assent to the legitimacy of the election until the November 8th season finale, Trump is undermining their stylized Platonic republic. Never mind Hillary's call to end the Electoral College after Al Gore's defeat in 2000. Never mind Democrat Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe's unconstitutional abuse of his power to reinstate the voting rights of convicted felons. Never mind an Old Dominion University study that found upwards of 14% of non-citizens registered to vote, and between 2 to 6% of non-citizens had voted in recent national elections. And never mind a report on the dead voting in Colorado this cycle. Convicted felons, non-citizens, and the dead are core constituencies for Hillary. So when a convicted felon named Bob Creamer is caught on video overseeing efforts to incite violence at Trump rallies and suborning voter fraud, we're supposed to follow the D.C. press corps' lead and never mind that too. Well, I mind. How about you?
My daughter started school, and I find myself worrying if she is getting home safe while I'm still at work. I wish I could check up on her.
Alarm Detection Systems offers remote control of your security system from your phone. Get text or video alerts when someone's at your door. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
Our neighbor had thousands of dollars in flood damage and lost several items that are irreplaceable. Is there a security solution to receive early warning of an event like this?
Of course. Alarm Detection Systems has flood detection systems alerting you when water gathers in your home, giving you time to react. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. Best thing I ever got in my. It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
They're just awesome. They keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. Everything is just perfect.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Call now, 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Hi, I'm Tom Sadeka, President and CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 33-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. Ladies and gentlemen, this administration is not finished in dampening growth and prosperity for the American business. December 1st, the new overtime rules go into effect. Are you ready? Are you ready for the new EEO-1 tracking and filing requirements? Precision Payroll of America is ready to help. Oh, and are you ready to implement Chicago's and Cook County's mandatory sick pay policy? Precision Payroll of America is ready to help. We stand ready to serve, and our clients are ready. Are you? Please call me at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. Or check us out on the web at precisionpayroll.com. Let's talk, let's meet, let's get ready.
Cubs beat the Indians and force a Game 6. Complete look at weather after Fox News, WIND, Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony.
Hillary has nobody but herself to blame.
Donald Trump in Nevada making a big deal of the FBI's renewed probe into Clinton's private emails. While Secretary of State, he'll likely keep that up today in Michigan. She'll be in Ohio. Yesterday in Florida, Clinton called it noise and distraction.
We won't be distracted no matter what our opponents throw at us.
Now with the latest on the probe, Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
The FBI obtained a warrant to start looking through the emails on a laptop used by Clinton aide Huma Abedin and her estranged husband, Anthony Weiner. A government source confirms for Fox News. The data on the computer has turned up positive hits for state.gov and HRC emails. That laptop was used to back up Abedin's phone, including all or at least some of her emails. The Wall Street Journal reports there are more than 650,000 emails. It will take weeks for investigators to sort through them all.
Now, Rachel, Democratic Senate Leader Harry Reid has sent FBI Director James Comey a letter saying he might have broken a law aimed at preventing federal officials from trying to influence an election. Republican Congressman Trey Gowdy counters.
Senator Reid is a political hack. Jim Comey is a law enforcement officer.
A wanted murderer has been hunted down and killed in a shootout in Oklahoma. Michael Vance finally found and stopped last night.
A farmer discovered a vehicle in his field, a vehicle that come very close to matching the description of the vehicle we've been looking for, a suspect vehicle.
Oklahoma Highway Patrol Chief Ricky Adams. Vance wounded an officer before he was killed. Last week, he wounded 2 other cops, and police say he murdered his aunt and uncle and committed other crimes. The World Series isn't over yet. The Cubs avoided elimination, beating the Indians in a 3-2 nail-biter.
It feels awesome. Super excited for the Cubs and for all of Chicago. We're going to win the World Series. We're going to win it all.
We got 2 more games, and we're going to win it.
But the Indians still have the advantage and can take the title if they win Game 6 tomorrow night in Cleveland. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Skies are somewhat cloudy this morning. We have 40 degrees in Chicago at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Trick-or-treaters today should have some nice weather. Temps a little over the 60 mark under partly sunny skies as we head into the evening, and no rain in the forecast. Cubs have earned themselves a return trip to Cleveland thanks to John Lester and Aroldis Chapman. Chapman finishing what Lester started. The two were magnificent in the Cubs' 3-2 win over the Indians. Lester giving credit to Chapman for the win.
Chappie coming in and doing what he's been doing for us since he came over here, and even before that, it's pretty unbelievable to see. You know, this guy's used to just getting 3 outs, and he goes, 2 2/3? So that's a huge uplift for our team.
Lester reached for 2 runs on 4 hits. Game 6 slated for Tuesday. Last night's game at Wrigley was the final contest with bullpens in foul territory. The new bullpens under the bleachers are set to open up next season. Turning to other news this morning, a federal investigator says engine pieces from the American Airlines plane that caught fire at O'Hare have been found thousands of feet away. Chicago coming off a bloody weekend where 16 were killed. Over 3 dozen more were wounded in shootings across the city since Friday evening. A library in the northwest suburbs giving folks a chance to eliminate late fees for a good cause. Beginning today, the Crystal Lake Public Library will forgive a person's fines if they donate at least half of that amount to the Crystal Lake Food Pantry. The offer lasts until November 14. NHL last night, Blackhawks blanked the Kings 3-0. NFL tonight, Vikings and Bears, Jay Cutler back at quarterback. The news, a service of Liberty Mutual. From weather to traffic and everything in between, you have enough to worry about every day. Insurance should not be one of them. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance. 6:04 time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The mainstream media has a duty and an obligation to cover this election fairly. Does it seem fair to you? Or do we see more coverage about the problems of one side than the problems for the other side? When the so-called journalists put their thumb on the scale and attempt to influence the most important election of our lifetime, it makes you wonder, what do we have to do to win? There's only one thing left to do. Make sure you and like-minded people go vote. It's the only way to stop them from tipping the scales. The host on this station will keep reminding you right till the end. AM 560, The Answer.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Mortgage rates have dropped again. In fact, recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. Now is the time for you to take advantage of these historically low rates and save serious money every month by refinancing your mortgage. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 3.5%, APR 3.57%. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN to see how far we can lower your mortgage payment. For 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 3rd year, they also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. This ultra-low rate of 3.5% won't last long. So call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
6:06. Let's get a check of the roads. AM 560 traffic center time. And here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the eastbound Adams Tollway, I-90 traffic is slow from Elmhurst Road to the Des Plaines Oasis, then from the Tri-State to the River Road Toll. The Edens is fine right now. The Kennedy, 23 minutes, so here to downtown, outbound 27, and it's stop and go on 190 from the Kennedy to Mannheim. About Eisenhower, 36 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 29. Stevenson is jammed. Harlem to Ashland after an earlier crash with injuries. An hour and 5 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37 minutes. Ryan is 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic is a service of American Express. Hey, American Express card members, you don't want to miss this. Now through December 31st, there's a big reason for you to shop small at local stores in your neighborhood. Learn more and enroll your eligible card today at americanexpress.com/shop small offer. Terms apply. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, partly sunny and warm, breezy for the afternoon, high 60. Tonight, partly cloudy and breezy, low 57, but temperatures rise into the middle 60s overnight. Warmer tomorrow with sun and some clouds, high 74. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 40 at O'Hare, 49 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 6:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Business Insanity Talk Radio with Barry Moltz. Sunday mornings at 5. It's all about getting your business unstuck and moving forward.
Good morning. Welcome to your Monday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Some of you may have heard about a letter that the FBI director sent out yesterday.
Director Comey came to a conclusion. We believe that voters have already made up their minds on this issue, so we find it very strange that 10 days out that he's putting this letter out there.
Do you want the fair result?
Yes.
A special prosecutor should be appointed, and a special prosecutor, non-Republican, non-Democrat, should redo this whole investigation.
Hillary has nobody but herself to blame for her mounting legal problems.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top O of the morning, Dan and Amy, and it was a big weekend. We had our Freedom Fest on Saturday.
It's called Freedom Summit, but it was a fest, too.
We also had a summit. We had a fest and a summit. We had both.
And it was great. And you had a media rumble with Iran Brooks, Guy Benson, Iran Brooks.
Brooke, singular.
Brooke, that guy.
Yeah, from Ayn Rand Institute. Dave Gallagher. Dave Gallagher's a friend of mine. Mike Gallagher is the guy who follows us on this station.
Can we start over? we cue up that intro again?
And Guy Benson. Yeah, that was fun talking about, because it was odd. You had Mike Gallagher, who's a full-throated Trump supporter. You had Guy Benson, who isn't, and Yaron Brook, who really isn't. Right. So, and then a room full of people who really are.
And there was screaming and booing. It was
it was raucous. Raucous good time.
I thought it was going to turn into the Springer Show where someone would get out a chair.
And then, thankfully, we had
But I watched a more subdued Michelle Malkin. She was great.
And then we had Ellen West calm everybody down at dinner.
It did her. Ellen West is funny.
No,
I don't think
great.
people realize. Because I said to him, I said, what do you do to work out? Because, he's a pretty buff guy. And he said to me, without skipping a beat, these are implants.
Yeah.
Pectoral implants.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you got me there. He said, well, women can do it. Why can't men do it?
And we'll also, the Cubs.
Oh, wait. Oh, did you see that little victory they had last night?
I mean, seriously, you lost 2 out of 3 at home and you're celebrating?
Hey, 3
of course,
runs
you're a
scored,
Cubs fan.
3 runs scored in the 4th inning. Come on.
On the board right here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. You escaped with a 3-2 victory over the Indians' worst starter to win one of 3 home games. It's real impressive. By the way, for those of you, because I've gotten a couple of emails and tweets about this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a Dan Proft fan. I'm not going to listen to your show anymore because you're not a
Cub fan?
You know, falling in line with the Cubs. Let me just explain something to you. It's a price I'm willing to pay because if you're such a fragile adolescent that you can't abide differing sports loyalties and good-natured trash talking, then that's fine. If you want a pandering homer, you can go to any other station on the dial. You got Amy, who's a legitimate Cubs fan, and I'm a real baseball fan, which is not something you see very much at Wrigley, certainly for the World Series.
Right. I mean, there was people sitting behind me, couldn't even name 5 players, and they were chatting and talking because I got to go to Game 5. And
of course you did.
Of course.
VIP.
I mean, not Game 5. I went to Game 3, excuse me.
You could go to any games you want.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just, walk out there, walk up to the ballpark. And they were talking the whole time, and they didn't even know who was it? Baez?
Sound it out. Sound it out.
Javier Baez. I mean, it's just so sick to me.
He has the same last name as your housekeeper. You should have told them.
I should have. Because those weren't Cub fans Friday night. Those were the richest of the rich, the elite. The people who, paid high dollar to get in. That's why the whole atmosphere was awful.
They're the same people who wore those garish sweaters during the Jordan era Bulls games. Mm-hmm. They just go wherever the flow is. They're pseudo sophisticates.
They wanted to be there.
Yeah, who are just there to be there. It's just
seen to be seen.
That's why it's so lame.
But I mean, even in the bottom of the ninth, when 2 men were on base, Javier Baez was up to bat. Nobody was standing up in the section like, "Come on, guys. We can win this one."
Well, they have to look to Bill Murray to know when to stand or what to do. Bill Murray, who's a legitimate baseball fan, legitimate sports fan, so they just have to look to him. But all right, we'll do more Cubs.
Yeah.
We got to get on to
the good stuff.
The future of Western civilization seems more important than the Cubs. I mean, with all due respect, a Cubs fan. And so the question is this: Donald Trump, his reaction to the Friday FBI bombshell. You heard a reaction on Friday. He's in New Hampshire. This was his initial reaction 10 minutes after hearing it.
This was a grave miscarriage of justice that the American people fully understood. And it is everybody's hope that it is about to be corrected.
All right, so that's Trump in New Hampshire on Friday. Then he's in Vegas on Saturday at the Venetian, where you like to go to the spa there.
Exactly. My aunt was there just in case. Aunt Linda.
Aunt Linda also likes the spa at the Venetian.
She loves it. She's all about going door to door for Trump right now. There's no spa treatments for her.
He continued on this track of raising this issue, of course. And this is going to lead to a question I want your input on. But here's Trump on Saturday in Vegas.
As you've heard, it was just announced on Friday that the FBI is reopening their investigation into the criminal and illegal conduct of Hillary Clinton. Hillary has nobody but herself to blame for her mounting legal problems.
And then he went on to offer an implication of a Hillary presidency.
Hillary put the office of Secretary of State up for sale. And if she ever did get the chance, which we're not going to let her have, she'd put the Oval Office up for sale also. You have no doubt about that.
So here's my question. With, it's seeming that whoever is the focus of the D.C. press corps' attention is the candidate who is dropping in the polls. So if they focus their sights on Hillary with all of her various scandals and problems, then she suffers attrition. When they focus on Trump, the same thing happens. What would you, if you were Kellyanne Conway, his campaign manager,
right.
What would you advise Trump? Would you extraordinary rendition him to a CIA black site and keep him bound and gagged and off Twitter until the evening of November 8th? Or would you tell him to lean into it, have him continue to do these rallies in battleground states, have him with the idea and the hope that he stays on point and makes an articulable case for the importance of what happened on Friday? Which would you argue for if you were on his campaign team?
Speaking of Friday, he was downright giddy when he learned this information. I watched that press conference in New Hampshire, Because this is a big. I would have him stay on message. I would not have him. He's got to keep with this.
So you would have him. You would have him out there.
Oh, I would keep him out there and talking about this. I mean, after he made that announcement in New Hampshire, he stopped and he said, "This is all I want to talk about. I don't even want to talk about what I'm here to discuss about different policies. I want to talk about Hillary's email."
Well,
that's what he said to the crowd because I was listening.
312-642-5600 Turnkey.pro answer line 64636DA Turnkey.pro text line. Take your call. Same question, because it's fine if he's on the trail. It's fine if he makes a point to address that, like he did there with she put the Secretary of State's office for sale. She would put the Oval Office for sale. But then I think he needs to pivot. The closing argument is not him obsessing about this. It's on the front page of every newspaper. It's all anybody's talking about. She is flailing and her campaign team is flailing. That means you don't talk about it.
Oh.
That means you pivot and make an optimistic closing argument about what you're going to do as President of the United States that is relevant to the future of Americans, not to the legal future of Hillary Clinton.
But it's working. I mean, ABC had a new poll they released Sunday. Hillary Clinton at one point in time was up 12 points. She's only up 1 point, according to their poll, on Donald Trump now.
Right.
Because of this. I mean, this is
a
game changer.
So
I think Jim Comey threw Donald Trump a lifeline.
So, again, in terms of what Trump should do or not do, if he intercedes, he takes focus away. And what you're saying, which is correct, is the focus where it is right now is beneficial to him. So don't do anything to take the focus off you. This is where
don't talk about any female anatomy. Don't step in it. Don't.
Well, obviously, but this is where he has to be boring Trump.
Okay.
Boring Trump talking about tax policy. Boring Trump reiterating his contract for the American voter. Boring Trump talking about border security. Boring Trump talking about
trade.
National security. Boring Trump. That's what we need for the last week, I think.
Can he do it, though?
Well, this is the
312-642-5600. I mean, that's the thing.
And so this is why I asked the question of whether he should be squirreled away somewhere for the next week, or you would suggest that you put him out there and hope that he doesn't interfere with what's happening to Hillary. Jordan in Forest Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning. I do think the one point that Trump ought to make is that, it's interesting how the Clinton administration or a potential Clinton administration has been hiding all of these emails for months and months and months, kicking and screaming, preventing anybody from getting them. And then now they want to have a whole investigation completed in 6 days. And
well,
right. And that kind of points to what an administration for her would be like. But I'll tell you one thing I would pivot to, and that's the Obamacare increases. I just checked my premium for a comparable plan for Illinois Blue Cross. It's going up 80%, 80% in my case, 80%, $400 a month more for one policy. What do you think of that?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I think that's right. And we've gotten emails from listeners, too, sending us the letters they've gotten from Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois with 60%, 80%, 100% increases.
People have sticker shock. I mean, it's enough to give you a heart attack.
Well, the last week and now this next week, Obamacare, WikiLeaks, the FBI reopening the investigation, Michael Moore making a closing argument for Trump. This is going very well, Donald.
Yeah.
Don't interrupt.
Don't mess it up.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Your phone call's coming up. 312-642-5600 is our Turnkey.pro answer line. And here's your weather forecast for today. It's beautiful sunshine to celebrate that Cub victory. Plenty of sunshine today, breezy, a high of 60. Tonight, a low of just 57. And tomorrow is going to be the best day. Warmer with sun, some clouds, a high of 74 degrees. Anything great on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Well, Amy, it's a real mess on the inbound Stevenson after a crash at Ashland. It's jammed First Avenue most of the way to Ashland. An hour and 10 minutes from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. An hour from the Tri-State. Outbound 37 minutes to 355. Edens is still fine. The Kennedy, 25 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 28. And it's slow on westbound 190 approaching Manheim. Eisenhower's 37 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop. Outbound 30, Ryan 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 28 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Eastbound Adams Tollway, slow Meacham to 53, and then Elmhurst Road most of the way to the Kennedy. It's heavy. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
This is Bob.
Hi, I'm Bob.
His company put their trust in Air Comfort to keep their business running cool all summer. Bob knows the value of proper chiller maintenance that includes end-of-season service, so he'll be ready for next summer.
I'm ready.
Dave, on the other hand, thought he could put off servicing his chiller at the end of last season and had 3 complete shutdowns this summer. Needless to say, his staff and customers were not happy. Moral of the story? Preventative maintenance will save you time, money, and trouble. As the hot weather ends, you need maintenance on your chiller before the start of next season. Air Comfort has one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with a dedicated factory-trained chiller department that takes a scientific approach to analyzing your system and determining any needed maintenance. They know how to work on large equipment, perform an analysis of your chiller, and get you ready for next season. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
Honey, I'm really worried about our retirement funds.
Oh, me too. We lost so much value in the recession in the stock market. I'm worried we won't have enough to retire.
Jim next door told me that he had set up a new kind of IRA with the Gold Silver Group. He said how simple and safe it was. It's a private storage IRA, and we could have real gold and silver in our hands.
Really? You mean we can actually see it and touch it?
Absolutely. Jim said we could have all the benefits of an IRA to help build our retirement income. Bottom line, we would own a real tangible asset, and we would have the security of knowing we're protected no matter what the economy does. What do you think?
I think we need to find out how to get our own private storage IRA. We need to call the Gold Silver Group right now.
Are you ready to protect your future? Call 800-296-8617 now to find out how easy and safe it is to set up a private storage IRA with Gold Silver Group. Get up to $995 in free silver on all qualified transactions. Ask how. All transactions have no startup fee, are privately delivered and fully insured. Please call us now. 800-296-8617. 800-296-8617.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents a story about pickles.
It's 2 a.m. and your pregnant wife needs pickles. So you pick up some green happiness, but hit a parked car. Great, something else to worry about. Luckily, Liberty Mutual Insurance has 24/7 claims assistance, so you can take care of your claim right away. Problem solved. Now, if only you bought the right pickles.
Visit a local office or call 844-8-LIBERTY. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company.
An important message from Medicare.
I found a better deal on prescriptions.
I found a new plan with lower costs.
It's Medicare Open Enrollment. Have you compared plans yet? Who knows what you might find?
Check out your options at Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
You never know unless you go.
Medicare Open Enrollment, October 15th through December 7th. Brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy taking your calls on what you think Trump should do for the final week. And we're also reviewing our favorite New York Post headlines with respect to Anthony Weiner. These are some classics from when he was running for mayor of New York City.
Okay. So these are the old ones, not the new ones?
Yeah. Well, how about let's go all the way back. Let's go back when he resigned from Congress. How about that?
Yeah, when the first sexting scandal happened.
Yeah. Right. Weiner's rise and fall.
Oh, that's awesome. Pop Goes the Wiener? Isn't that one of them?
No, well, maybe. That's on the top 10 that did not make the top 10 list.
Oh, darn it. It was Pop Goes the Weasel.
How about when he announced that he was running for mayor?
All right, can't wait. What was it?
Wiener's second coming. Erect me, Mr. Mayor.
They did not say that. Erect me.
Oh, I mean, is this the greatest parable ever? That Anthony Weiner,
of all people,
could be the downfall of the whole criminal enterprise?
And again, Bill Clinton married Uma and Anthony Weiner, too. I mean, that's how close they are with the Clintons.
I love it.
And poor Uma, Uma's been kicked off the campaign plane and is not traveling with Hillary Clinton. I don't think she'll be with her until the election's over.
Uma in hiding.
Yep.
Jim in Tampa, Florida.
Hey, I think the concern about keeping Trump quiet feels like prevent defense to me. And it just feels like the manager who goes and takes the ball out of the hand of a pitcher who's really doing well and because the stats show that this guy does better against lefties or whatever. I just think he's gotten this far. I think he's smart, and the contract is great, and I got to believe in his rallies. He keeps going back to that. But that just feels like that to me. I think you just let the big dog run.
All right,
That's what I got.
can we compromise? A text from 708. Can we agree to this compromise? Keep him off Twitter, Jim. Could we at least compromise?
That, you know what? That'd be a good start.
Yeah. Scott on the West Side.
Hey, Dan and Amy, thanks for taking my call. I agree with Dan totally 100% that what Trump was doing at his rallies over the weekend is what he needs to continue to do. He had a great suit on the speeches that I watched. He looked presidential. He sounds presidential. It is a bit on the boring side, but I think it's what he needs to do.
All right, thanks, Scott. Scott didn't see the sport coat I had on.
Oh, yeah.
On Saturday, which was all. I also looked very presidential.
And you had a little scarf. What are those called? An ascot?
No, they're called pocket square. Scarf, ascot. No, I didn't go to Freedom Summit dressed as Ralph Furley. I just had a pocket square.
You had a little pocket square.
Yeah, just a pocket square.
So when you dry clean the suit, do you have to take out the pocket square? How does that work?
You can get the pocket square cleaned if you must know. By the way, it just as a related.
Yes, it was like a Dickie. If it's kind of, Did you ever own a Dickie?
No, I didn't.
I bet Mike Scott had a few Dickies in the day, huh? Did you?
No.
No.
Mike Scott is a manly man.
Oh, you
This
did?
is not an episode of Magnum P.I.
Yeah,
John Hillerman is not here.
Exactly.
Thank
we
you.
should bring back the Dickie.
Those are nasty.
I don't know. How did we get off on the change? I don't.
I'm sorry.
I want
This is bad.
I want to make sure we don't miss it. We're going to talk to a bunch of people in the know.
Yes, we
Joe
are.
DiGenova, former U.S. Attorney for D.C. at the top of 7.
Yeah.
Chris Farrell from Judicial Watch at bottom of 7. Ron Hoskow, former FBI Assistant Director, bottom of 8. Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin, top of 8. But I don't want to let this go without passing.
Yes.
Loretta Lynch, the Attorney General, she has a role to play here.
Yeah. And apparently, her and James Comey, they didn't speak face to face, but she advised him not to do this.
Yes, and he
via some
ignored.
communication.
He appreciated her advice and counsel, but reminded her that he's not taking legal advice from someone who meets ex parte with the husband of the target of a federal criminal investigation on an airplane, which is, I think, appropriate.
But this is almost surreal.
But there's this too, on a kind of related but unrelated. It just kind of goes to the whole cesspool that is this regime, and consistent with the cloud that just stays right above the Clintons, that's generated by the Clintons. Loretta Lynch effectively pleading the fifth on secret Iran ransom payments. In an October 24th response, her Assistant Attorney General refused to answer questions presented by Senators Marco Rubio from Florida and Mike Pompeo from Kansas. He refused to answer questions and informed lawmakers that they are barred from publicly disclosing any details about the cash payment. Oh, I mean, is that classified information that should be secured? Which was bound up in a ransom deal aimed at, of course, freeing the several American hostages from Iran. The response from Rubio and Pompeo is this: the Attorney General's office response is unacceptable. She has, quote, essentially pled the fifth and refused to respond to inquiries regarding her role in providing cash to the world's foremost state sponsor of terrorism. This reported on by the Washington Free Beacon. Iran, by the way, is still on the State Department list as a state sponsor of terror. So the Republican senators have a point. The refusal to answer questions, effectively pleading the fifth, as they describe it, is just another fascinating development in the lawlessness of everything that surrounds Hillary Clinton. And that's why the next week's going to be real interesting.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Change in the market shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. In fact, since World War II, we've seen a correction on average about once every 18 months. That's why Arlington Capital Management developed proprietary tools that help them to see what's beyond your investment horizon. Like an experienced ship captain uses tools to avoid stormy weather, Arlington Capital Management uses tools to guide you through market corrections before it's too late and help us decide when to capitalize on opportunity. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 to learn how their active management systems can help you. Each day, they actively explore the market, our economy, and all the variables that affect your investments. Stormy markets never cloud their vision. The professionals at Arlington Capital Management use their tools and experience to guide them. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 for a financial review. The number again is 855-471-5796 or learn more at arlington-capital.com.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing mortgage? Then you need to do what I did and call David Hochberg over there at Pearl Mortgage. Customer service, market knowledge, and low closing costs are what makes David one of the country's top producing loan officers. David's team of experienced loan officers is committed to helping you, your friends, your family, coworkers, neighbors with your next real estate transaction. So if you complete an online application with mortgage companies touting digital technology, someone with limited knowledge from a hot box call center returns your calls. But when you complete an online application at am560david.com, either David or one of his professional loan officers will call you and answer your questions directly. Technology is only as good as the professional loan officers you work with when you hit submit. If you want to work with a loan officer who appreciates and values your business, then call David now. 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. David has helped me and thousands of AM560 listeners, but he can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender. Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358 NMLS 19186. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Is James Comey ruining our democracy at 6:36?
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Some clouds and 44 degrees right now. The FBI has a search warrant to go through emails connected to the probe into Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server. Agency got that warrant on Sunday. The chair of the House Intelligence Committee says he doesn't believe the FBI would reopen the investigation into the Clinton email scandal unless there were serious and substantial developments.
I just don't see Director Comey opening this case back up 11 days before the election unless it is quite serious.
Speaking on Fox News Sunday, Republican California Congressman Devin Nunes. Former U.S. Attorney Eric Holder calling FBI Director James Comey a good man who may have made a serious mistake. Holder wrote that in an op-ed in Sunday's Washington Post. Meantime, Hillary Clinton campaign chair John Podesta wants Comey to explain why he's reopening the investigation.
This was an unprecedented action. It broke with a policy of Democratic and Republican Justice Departments. It was done over the advice of senior Justice Department officials.
Speaking on CNN State of the Union, Podesta says the announcement was short on fact. Authorities in Oklahoma confirming that a man wanted for shooting 2 police officers and killing 2 relatives is dead. Michael Vance was reportedly killed Sunday night in a shootout with police. Italian authorities say more than 15,000 have sought assistance from the Civil Protection Agency in that country. They're being housed in hotels and shelters following Sunday's huge earthquake and one last week. Trick-or-treaters here in Chicagoland, nice weather for Halloween, no rain, temps near 60. And the Cubs have earned themselves a return trip to Cleveland, extending the World Series to a Game 6. Blackhawks over the Kings 3-0. Tonight, Monday Night Football. Could be scary for Bears fans as they take on the 5-1 Vikings. The news, a service of American Express. American Express card members, you don't want to miss this. Now through December 31st, there's a big reason for you to shop small at local stores in your neighborhood. Learn more and enroll your eligible card today at americanexpress.com/shop small offer. Terms apply. 6:35. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes it's time to compromise.
So you can't align yourself with people who have some odious aspects to their personal life. This is the rule now from the right. One of the reasons that they win and we don't. They align themselves with anybody and march on in the crushing of America as America. But you will do it in good conscience.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chris Veldman of ServiceMaster DSI, the largest ServiceMaster franchise in the United States and a customer of Signature Bank. In our business, we respond to disaster, and we never know when disaster will strike, whether it's flooding in Louisiana or a house fire in Chicago. Not all banks understand that need for flexibility, but Signature Bank does. That's why we consider them so much more than a bank. They have been our business partner since 2006, when their three co-founders, Mick, Kevin, and Brian, started the bank. Signature Bank is a key part of our growth strategy at ServiceMaster DSI.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
5:36 AM 560 Traffic Center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the Edens inbound, it's heavy starting around Church Street. 25 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 19, but there's a crash reported on the ramp to westbound 2E. Kennedy 34 minutes, O'Hare to downtown outbound 40, with additional delays on westbound 190 approaching O'Hare. The Eisenhower's 44 minutes, Thorndale to the post office outbound 34. Stevenson, 57 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. It's jammed First Avenue to Damon. There was an earlier crash in the area. Also heavy approaching King Drive with a stall in the center lane. Outbound, it's 37 minutes to 355. Ryan, 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. Eastbound Adams Tollway, slow Meacham to 53. Really jammed from the Tri-State onto the Kennedy. Traffic is a service of Firestone Complete Auto Care. Be prepared for winter, spring, summer, and fall with Firestone FR 710 all-season tires. Now 10% off at Firestone Complete Auto Care. Whatever you drive a Firestone. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, and your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935, partly sunny and breezy. It's Halloween Day, high 60, and for your trick-or-treaters tonight, 57, under partly cloudy skies. 40 at O'Hare. It's 45 along the lakefront. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy. Continue next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the truth of the foreclosure crisis. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Still waxing nostalgic over New York Post Anthony Weiner headlines.
Oh, do I have that in my stack too, or did you just keep that for yourself?
No, you've got it. How about this one?
Yeah.
When he was first in the crosshairs for his sexting, Weiner, I'll stick it out. He won't step down.
But you watched the documentary.
I did.
Weiner, remember that?
Oh, I did.
Yeah. Too bad we can't have an encore, too.
When he was,
how do you think that conversation went? Honey, now your sexting has cost my best friend the presidency.
And
thank you.
And now we're going to be like Jesse and Sandy Jackson, where we're going to do consecutive prison terms. You for, all of your
he should be in jail already.
Pedophilia, and me for, mishandling classified information for my boss.
And how do you think that 16-year-old girl in North Carolina feels? That sophomore in high school, he was sexting back and forth.
I don't know.
I mean, what he asked her to do and what he, coaxed her into doing, I don't understand why he's not in prison already. I mean, the Daily Mail interviewed her, and they disguised her voice and how he wanted to do role playing and all that. Do you want to hear it or no?
No.
Oh, it's so good. Though.
Yeah, I think we've got
This poor
I think
thing.
we've got the download on Wiener.
Down-
I think we're clear on it. So another New York Post headline.
By the way, I don't have that, but go
Remember that this is after the documentary and after they were reconciling and putting their marriage back together, and then he got caught with the sexting that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The real one that's going to put him behind bars.
Wiener and Meltdown, too hard to quit. He's still sexting. The New York Post headline writers have the best job in the world. And I assume they're fifth grade boys because
course.
only
Right.
fifth grade boys could come up with that kind of
But it still makes me
highbrow
laugh.
humor.
Makes me laugh.
Is Jim Comey ruining democracy? Is he? Or at least damaging it. It's so interesting the position that Hillary Clinton takes with damage control, right? Sending Robbie Mook out to the Sunday talk shows, as well as even John Podesta had to be called in.
An emergency situation.
He was on with Jake Tapper. Rudy Giuliani made the point that he wouldn't necessarily go after James Comey and prosecutors the way that Hillary is choosing. He wouldn't take that tack.
It's a very bad strategy that the Clintons are following, which is to challenge him. I mean, I always tell my clients when I'm on the other side, the prosecutor's got all the power. Don't say to him, put out all the evidence.
Remember when Jesse Jackson Jr. told Patrick Fitzgerald to bring it on?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And then it got brought in, and then he went away.
He done gone wrong.
Well, so you've got that track, and then you've got those with Department of Justice credentials coming out writing op-eds like this. This is fantastic. Jamie Gorelick in the Washington Post. Jim Comey is damaging our democracy.
Oh,
decades ago, the department decided, she's a former deputy attorney general under Bill Clinton.
Okay.
Department decided a 60-day period before the election, the balance should be struck against even returning indictments involving individuals running for office, as well as the disclosure of any investigative steps. So she just makes the protocol argument. Do you remember who Jamie Gorelick is? This is perfectly Clintonian to trot out Jamie Gorelick to weep for our democracy. Jamie Gorelick, who is the mistress of disaster. It was Jamie Gorelick, when she was a Clinton appointee, deputy attorney general, who constructed the wall of separation that kept the CIA and the FBI from comparing notes and therefore invading the privacy of young men like, say, Muhammad Atta and Zacarias Moussaoui, the 9/11 killers. With countless problems were uncovered in intelligence operations in the wake of 9/11, and no single factor, according to many intelligence experts, came close to Jamie Gorelick's wall of separation between the CIA and the FBI in terms of information sharing. So there's your one unbelievable catastrophe, the worst attack since Pearl Harbor on American soil. Then she was made vice chairman of Fannie Mae in 1997.
Oh, looky there.
Served in that role through 2003, where she routinely defended all of those that later were tabbed as responsible for the housing bubble bursting, including Countrywide and others, where people actually did get prosecuted. And for her good work in being a Barney Frank-like flack for Fannie and Freddie, she got a $26 million golden parachute out of Fannie Mae. And you know why she's writing about this and so easy to trot her out? Because she wants Jim Comey's job. She was actually on, despite the fact that she was at least a partial architect of two unbelievable catastrophes. She, just a few years ago, back near the end of Obama's first term, was on the short list to head up the FBI. And now she's talking about Jim Comey damaging our democracy. I mean, so again,
she's applying already.
For never Trumpers, think about Jamie Gorelick as head of the FBI with Loretta Lynch as your holdover attorney general if Hillary Clinton is elected. You think that personnel matters? Or is Trump's boorish behavior more important than Jamie Gorelick and Loretta Lynch being at the FBI and Department of Justice, respectively. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro. Text line. Let's go to Clay in Downers Grove. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Hey, Clay.
I'm on?
Yep.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to say that Comey is now Hillary's little mouse pocket. Okay? He is so nestled in their little pocket because if Trump wins, Comey just gets to throw his hands up in the air and say, hey, I was looking into her. Don't blame me. But if Hillary wins, boom, all these charges are suddenly dropped. I guarantee it.
Well, why would Comey reopening the investigation, how does that help Hillary?
That helps Hillary because it takes away all the distraction from the WikiLeaks. You got to remember that the liberal media, all these WikiLeaks are just, that's old news. We're back on the Clinton email.
Oh, thanks for the call, Clay.
I think that this breathes a new breath of fresh air into the whole email scandal because people didn't care before, but now that it's salacious and it's tied to Anthony Weiner, it's piquing their interest. They want to know more about this.
Wait.
How is it possible classified information ended up on a laptop that Anthony Weiner shared with his wife?
I mean, let's understand something, can we?
Yes.
WikiLeaks is the death of 1,000 or 10,000 cuts, and that death may not come soon enough. Reopening a criminal investigation 10 days before an election is an axe to your jugular. Are you kidding me? This distracts from WikiLeaks? No, I don't understand why. I think some conservatives and Trump voters are so tied up in the notion that this is rigged that they can't accept something at face value. This has to be some kind of conspiracy that will benefit Hillary. It isn't. There is no benefit to Hillary here. Let's go to Mike on the north side.
Hey, good morning, kids. Could we refrain from using the words Anthony Weiner and laptop in the same sentence from now on, please? Hi-oh. Yeah, Amy, if Cleveland had won last night, the fire department was going to do a well-being check on you. We were worried about you. I just wanted to say, am I the only one that notices this? Nobody else wants to mention it, so I'll mention it. There's a common thread among the Democrats here. Anthony Weiner and sexual pictures being sent to teenagers. Bill Clinton sexually harassing and raping women. And Hillary Clinton getting a rapist off who raped and beat a 12-year-old girl unconscious. The Democratic Party is not the party of a choice anymore. They're the party of rape. If you've got teenage daughters, remember that. The Democratic Party is the party of rape.
Okay, Mike.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
A very serious
one
turn.
from a wellness check for
a Cub game.
Yeah,
so Democratic Party is the party of rape.
Annie on the northwest side.
I do not understand how anyone out there could vote for Hillary Clinton. I mean, both sides, both parties are so steeped in corruption and they're so filthy dirty in every department, the State Department, the CIA, everybody is so dirty and they all need to go. They all need to be tried with treason for what they're doing to this country. And people better wake up. It's just sickening.
All right, thanks for the call, Annie. Mark and Joliet.
Hey, good morning, Amy and Dan. The thing that I would be most concerned about is it was the Associated Press that said this was done by Carlos Danger and his wife, Huma Abedabadu. Nobody from FBI has said that. Now everybody's running with that as though it's fact. And my point is, I would be very, very, very careful about this because these guys are all Team Hillary, including Comey.
Yeah,
so
well, here's the thing, Mark. I mean, thanks for the call, Mark. But here's the thing. The FBI obtained a warrant to search emails related to the probe of Hillary Clinton's private server that were discovered on Anthony Weiner's laptop. Law enforcement officials confirmed on Sunday. So, yeah, it appears that is the target, unless you think that this is all some kind of gaslighting adventure. I don't think so.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, it's a story that has Dan Proft smiling from ear to ear. A certain group, a gay rights group, has unendorsed Senator Mark Kirk. We'll explain why coming up. But first, here's your forecast. Plenty of sunshine today, breezy, a high of 60 degrees. Tonight, a low in the upper 50s. And tomorrow's going to be Just a spectacular day. Warm, sunshine, a few clouds, but a high of 74 degrees. Let's get the latest on the roadways. Here's Jim Delamonte.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning. Northbound 53, stop and go Gulf Road to Algonquin, where a crash blocks 2 left lanes. Eden's 31 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose. Outbound 23, the exit to westbound 2 is closed with a crash. Kennedy, 43 minutes now. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 40. The Eisenhower's 50 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 34. Stevenson, 57 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. There's a stall now at King Drive in the center lane. Outbound 37 minutes. Ryan, 21 minutes. 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State. So 95th to the 83rd Street toll. Archer to LaGrange Road. Plainfield Road at 47th. Then from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. The other tollways have milder delays. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. October, a record breaker for mergers. Volkswagen planning double-digit staff cuts. Voters in Missouri get a unique challenge. Those stories next.
Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. Attention, investors. Your IRA or your 401k may be at risk again. The 2008 crash wiped out up to 50% of IRAs and 401ks. Can you afford to lose again? What if you could store IRA or 401k savings where you can see, touch, and hold it in your hands? With the Augusta Gold or Silver IRA, you transfer a portion of retirement savings into physical coins you can actually see and get fast in case of any disaster. Call Augusta Precious Metals today for a free gold and silver IRA guide. No obligation. Augusta Precious Metals, A+ Better Business Bureau rating, 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 1-855-222-6993. That's 1-855-222-6993. One more time, 1-855-222-6993.
As October comes to an end, mergers and acquisitions for this month have totaled $449 billion, including AT&T's agreement to buy Time Warner for $85 billion, Qualcomm's plan to buy NXP Semiconductors for $39 billion. Last week alone, mergers totaled $177 billion, a new one-week record. And today in Washington, the Commerce Department releasing its update on personal income and spending in September. Volkswagen's personnel director in Germany says its transition to more electric vehicles means the company is planning what he calls 5-digit cuts in Volkswagen staffers worldwide. Voters in Missouri next Tuesday will have the opportunity to decide whether to prohibit taxes on haircuts in the Show Me state. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now. I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
Hi, I'm Tom Sadeka, President and CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 33-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. We have so many wonderful clients, but with me today is someone very special.
Hi, I'm Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA. We are a nonprofit student organization battling the bias and indoctrination in America's high schools and colleges every day. We are on over 1,000 campuses and continue to grow. Precision Payroll has been there since day one and has helped us immensely as we grew to a truly national organization. No one in the business is better than Precision Payroll. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Charlie. What you're doing is so important. To learn more and help, go to tpusa.com. That's tpusa.com.
And for your business, let Precision Payroll make a difference for you. Call Tom at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. Or online at precisionpayroll.com.
Thank you, Charlie.
AM 560, The Answer.
Mark Kirk's comeuppance, so baby. One traitorous act of cynically misdirected shaming begets another, Amy. The apology that Mark Kirk offered Tammy Duckworth, not accepted by his good friends at the Human Rights Campaign.
No, the Human Rights Campaign have unendorsed Mark Kirk for the comments that he made about Tammy Duckworth and her family. But he did tweet sincere apologies to an American hero, Tammy Duckworth, and gratitude for her family's service.
Mm-hmm.
But what about tell us, Dan, about the Human Rights Campaign. What group is this?
This is a gay rights group, and, they endorse him because of his support for marriage redefinition. And now
marriage equality.
They're not just on endorsing him, they're endorsing Tammy Duckworth. They're doing a full 180, and this is great. The best part about this,
what?
One of the best parts about this, I mean, they're both so pathetic, HRC as well as Kirk. But listen to this: attacking someone because of her race and ethnicity is inexcusable for anyone, but especially for a sitting U.S. senator. This is from this guy Griffin. Yeah, is the head of HRC. Especially for U.S. Senator? Oh, yeah, U.S. Senators operate at a higher moral level than the rest of us. I mean, maybe that was true 100 years ago.
Yeah, his remarks were an affront to our most fundamental values.
And then Kirk's campaign spokesperson said, Kirk is, quote, incredibly proud of his leadership to fight discrimination at every level. Hey, here's the spin translation of that. I'm very proud of my work is the political pride cliche. It's translated as, for those of you who, not steeped in newspeak, I demand you acknowledge me as the polar opposite of what Incident X implies. That's what I'm very proud of my work against discrimination. When you use the bigot card and you make your bed with the left, Senator Kirk, don't be surprised when they run for the hills at the first sign of trouble. Good luck on November 8th. Former United States Senator Kirk.
Hi, I'm Scott Turf, the host of Power Trading Radio. Like the game Texas Hold'em, are you all in the financial markets? Because if you're all in the financial markets, you know what's going to happen? There's a high probability you're going to lose a big portion of your portfolio. So what I've set up here is I've set up a DVD of the 10 Laws of Risk Management DVD, and you're also going to receive a class that's valued over $500. All you need to do right now is give me a call at 888-984-8723. Don't be like one of these people in Texas Hold'em when you're all in, because a lot of people are all in into the financial markets. How are you going to protect your bucket of wealth? The 10 Laws of Risk Management DVD. Right now, Chicago, give me a call at 888-984-8723. Please don't be one of these people that go all in, because the markets are volatile. The markets are going to be going up. The markets are going to be going down. Here at Online Trading Academy, we can help you protect your wealth. So right now, Chicago, give me a call at 888-984-8723. That's 888-984-8723.
On AM 560, The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news.
Tonight's guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, actor and Chicago native Bill Murray.
Upstream Ideas in partnership with
it's the bottom of the seventh inning. The last chance to order beer.
Policy discussions happening here on AM 560.
But we didn't come here to drink beer. We came here to win this ball game.
And change accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the.
I said to the Uber boy, I said,
go online now
take me out with the crowd.
That's upstream-ideas.com.
And in order to see the right lyric, take me out with the crowd.
To help encourage
you need to sing it like our greatest American entertainer,
a bit freer,
Mr.
a bit
Daffy
more just,
Duck.
and a bit more civilized.
So I want you to spray it, and don't say it.
Frank, one of the heating and cooling pros at 1 Hour. Frank's got his head up a vent right now. How's it going up there?
Frank
knows what he's doing.
A 2,
He's been with 1 Hour
a 3.
That's a long time. Over that time,
Me
he's
out to the ball game.
That makes Frank the man.
Me out
I'm sorry, Frank. Take it.
the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care.
In its respective state or county.
Flu season is here, but there's something else going around that Foundation is donating over $1.8 million to more than 350 KidSense charities committed to the health and well-being of children in our community. Shot. No appointments necessary, and it's free with most insurance. Rite Aid. With us, it's personal.
The crowd was chanting USA. He was pointing to reporters and saying, Jew-SA.
Cloudy skies, WIND Chicago News
a lot
Time,
of anti-Semites and racists and misogynists who support the Trump candidacy.
Wow.
Would you call that man deplorable?
Wow, yes, I would. His conduct is completely unacceptable and does not reflect our campaign or our candidate. Wow, I have to push back on some of the adjectives you just used to describe. I hope you've been to Trump rallies, and I hope that you've seen the tens of thousands. I mean, he's had over 500,000 people easily. I think in excess of that at his rallies, and these are
Senate Democratic leader
USA-loving Americans who just want their country to be prosperous and safe again. Well, you just suggested that we're just filled with all these other isms, and I think that's incredibly fair. Hillary Clinton surrounds herself with lots of people.
Republican South Carolina Congressman Trey Gowdy.
I'm not saying that at all. Let me make clear what I am saying.
Use drugs, and anyone who is capable of sending out
he looked at me different. The way he hugged me was different. It was just a totally different experience where that's where I kind of just was stunned going, what the heck does he think this is?
Dave.
Rachel, a manhunt's
I was
over
21, but I was
killer
21 going on 16 at the time, mentally. And to me, I honestly, I was awkward. I looked at my dad like, what the heck was that? And he just kind of looked at me like, just brush it off. And so I just took it, like I said, as being somebody, I thought maybe that's how East Coasters greet each other.
Still alive in the World Series. Fox's Jeff Manasso was at Game 5, now live in Chicago.
Dave, the Cleveland Indians jumped down to a quick 1-0
I'm not scared. I've been through scarier things in my past that I feel like this is really nothing, and I want to be an example to others that might be able to come forward. I'm not scared. I've been through scarier things in my past that I feel like this is really nothing, and I want to be an example to others that might be able to come forward.
The Cubs still trailing the series 3-2, but force an exciting Game 6 tomorrow in Cleveland with Jake Arrieta on the mound against the Indians' Josh Tomlin.
On the board right News Radio.
42 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Trick-or-treaters here in Chicagoland may have some really nice weather coming up for Halloween tonight. National Weather Service says temps could reach an expected 60-degree high later today, and then early in the evening falling to 57 with not a lot of rain showers in the forecast. The Cubs have earned themselves a return trip to Cleveland and a whole passel of happy fans with a 3-2 win over the Indians. Fans outside Wrigley giving credit to John Lester, who started as he and Aroldis Chapman were magnificent in the Cubs' win. Lester giving credit to the closer, who turned in a good performance.
Chappie coming in and doing what he's been doing for us since he came over here, and even before that. It's pretty unbelievable to see. This guy's used to just getting 3 outs, and he goes, 2 2/3? So that's a huge, huge uplift for our team.
Game 6 Tuesday. Last night's game at Wrigley Field, the final contest you'll ever see with bullpens in foul territory. Federal investigator this morning says engine pieces from that American Airlines plane that caught fire at Chicago's O'Hare Airport have been found thousands of feet away. An NTSB senior investigator confirms Friday's fire was caused by engine failure, and parts of that engine were found 3,000 feet away at a UPS warehouse. An investigation underway following a crash near Sugar Grove that killed a man and injured his 8-year-old son. And some people are not happy about the University of Illinois' choice for a speaking engagement. Several groups are protesting Harold Koh's appearance at the university's law school because they say he's advocated for things like drone warfare. Koh was a legal advisor for the Department of State from 2009 to 2013. The school is responding by defending their selection. NHL last night, Blackhawks blanked the Kings 3-0. Strong effort in net from Corey Crawford. Monday Night Football, Vikings and Bears. The news, a service of Staples with low prices on ink and toner and an in-stock guarantee to ensure you always get what you need fast. In-stock guarantee applies to in-store selection only. Out-of-stock ink and toner will be ordered from an in-store kiosk with a $10 discount plus free shipping. Limit 1 cartridge per customer. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity gives you a free lesson on the economy.
Corporations do not pay taxes.
Well, what do you mean, Hannity? They got to pay something. Everyone's got to pay their fair share.
When they build the product or they provide the service, and let's say the government taxes them at a high rate, what do you think they are going to do? They're going to pass the tax charges on to you.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Mortgage rates have dropped again. In fact, recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. Now is the time for you to take advantage of these historically low rates and save serious money every month by refinancing your mortgage. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 3.5%, APR 3.57%. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN to see how far we can lower your mortgage payment. For 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the third year, they also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. This ultra-low rate of 3.5% won't last long. So call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit JDPower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
7:06 AM 560 Traffic Center time. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the Edens inbound delay start at Oakton, 29 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 27. The Kennedy, 46 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 24 from Montrose, 18 in the Express. Outbound 26 minutes to Montrose and 49 to the airport. Inbound Eisenhower, 53 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, 36 from Manheim. Outbound 44 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 57 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37. Ryan is 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 28 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop, Ford, 43. The delay started at Dalton Avenue. Northbound Tri-State heavy in pockets from 95th to 47th, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway slow, Roselle to 53. 53 has delays northbound Beesterfield to Algonquin with a crash in the two left lanes. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, here's our meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Breezy with partial sunshine today, high 60, then a partly cloudy and breezy night. Wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour near the lake. A low 57 with temperatures rising into the middle 60s overnight. Sun and clouds for tomorrow, high 74 and a low 55. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
41 at O'Hare. It is 45 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
Good morning. Welcome to your Monday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Some of you may have heard about a letter that the FBI director sent out yesterday.
Director Comey came to a conclusion. We believe that voters have already made up their minds on this issue, so we find it very strange that 10 days out that he's putting this letter out there.
Do you want the fair result?
Yes.
A special prosecutor should be appointed, and a special prosecutor, non-Republican, non-Democrat, should redo this whole investigation.
Well,
Hillary has nobody but herself to blame for her mounting legal problems.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And so the argument that, or the spin, I should say, it's not really an argument, it really is just spin, that Hillary Clinton and her flacks are making over the weekend after the FBI's sonic boom on Friday is violation of protocol. Everything is about process with them, right? We don't want to talk about the substance of what's in the WikiLeaks emails. We just want to talk about the Russians and the fact that they were illegally hacked. That's how they came to surface. And perhaps that's with the existence of WikiLeaks prompted the announcement that was unearthed on Friday. But the idea that this is unprecedented, an unprecedented violation of protocol by the FBI to engage in any type of discussion of an investigation, issue any indictments of persons running for office just less than 2 weeks before an election. It turns out the D.C. Press Corps' memory is a little short, their institutional knowledge a little thin, because I remember 1992 and Cap Weinberger, who was Reagan's Secretary of Defense, and, of course, George W. Bush, H.W. Bush, was the Vice President of the United States, and so Iran-Contra, and Cap Weinberger's indictment just days before the election in 1992 that many argue threw the election to Bill Clinton against George Herbert Walker Bush. And listen to what Bill Clinton and Al Gore had to say about that October surprise back in 92.
And all along, the Clinton campaign has been trying to make an issue of George Bush's credibility. The revelations today about Iran-Contra played right into that theme.
Today's disclosure that President Bush knew and approved of the arms for hostages deal with Iran not only directly contradicts the president's claims, it diminishes the credibility of the presidency. It raises the question, first and most importantly, about whether he's told the truth in this campaign and for the last 5 years. And secondly, it raises the whole question of his support for the policy. But the far more important thing is whether for 5 years he's been telling the American people something about his conduct of foreign policy as vice president, which was simply not true.
Yeah, oh boy, I think you could pose the same questions to a certain former Secretary of State who violated a protocol at minimum when she decided to set up her private homebrew email server, didn't she? Well, for more on this and the legal implications, how this may play out over the next 8 days in particular, we're pleased to be joined again by Joe DiGenova. He is a former U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia. Joe, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
And so it looks like you may yet still be right. You predicted before Comey's announcement that he wasn't going to refer charges, that he would refer charges, that Hillary would be indicted. Well, maybe you're just, you just had to wait a little bit longer to be correct.
Well, actually, what happened here was you are witnessing the 2016 version of the Caine Mutiny. The FBI agents in the field and at headquarters are in complete revolt. This is a mutiny. The agents in New York continued to investigate this case without the knowledge of people at Main Justice. They discovered the laptop with the 650,000 State Department emails on it 1 month ago and did not notify the director until Thursday of last week. This was done purposely to give him no choice but have to notify Congress. And if James Comey had not sent that letter to Capitol Hill, the agents would have leaked the information to the press. So in order to maintain the apparent control of his agency, he sent the letter. And he was boxed in by his original investigation, which obviously wasn't thorough or complete, because if it had been thorough and complete, they would have discovered the Anthony Weiner laptop first time around. So all in all, this is pretty embarrassing for the director. But as far as the Democrats complaining about it, really, quite frankly, nothing embarrasses the Democrats, of course. But this is really quite remarkable. And I think we have no way of knowing how this will affect the campaign, but I'm sure it'll have some effect.
But they found these emails a month ago. Why did they wait so long to bring it to Comey's attention?
To box him in.
Really interesting.
Because if this had been done a month ago, they would have hemmed and hawed. They did it now. The agents are pretty smart. These men and women are not dumb. They were furious about what he did in July. He held a news conference, which was completely unnecessary. He made all these public statements about the facts of the law, all of which was incorrect. He made a judgment because Loretta Lynch had been recused from the case because of her corrupt meeting with Bill Clinton on that airplane in the tarmac in Phoenix. She was out of the case. He took complete control. He decided he was going to be a hero. Once he held that news conference, and once he made it clear that the Bureau said there's no crime here, those agents out in the field went ballistic. And so did people at headquarters. So the bottom line was, this was inevitable. It was just a matter of when it was going to happen. And the agents picked the moment to make him have no other choice.
Well, so this is interesting, and the Kane Mutant metaphor is interesting, too, because it seems to me then he's Commander Queeg, regardless of who wins on Tuesday.
That's right, marbles and strawberries.
I love a Kane Mutiny reference this early in the morning. I really do. So it's and what you're saying runs counter to what some other reports are, that he was looking for an opportunity to re-enter. He was looking for an opportunity to redress what he did a couple of months earlier. And you're suggesting, no. He was put in God's little acre by rank and file.
Oh, absolutely. Now, it may also be true that he was looking for a way out. But the bottom line is it didn't matter what he was looking for, because the mutiny was underway. And this was going to be put on his desk with very little time to decide, purposely, so that he had no choice but to send a letter to Capitol Hill in light of his incredibly stupid testimony that he gave a number of times on the Hill after his July news conference.
The Wall Street Journal reports as many as 650,000 emails may have to be poured through.
Yes.
That is not going to happen in the next week. There's no way, is there?
Oh, no, but here's what's clear. The agents who found this data on Weiner's computer did not read the emails, but they did read the headers. And you would have to do that in order to determine whether or not you should get a search warrant.
Right.
Now, they didn't need a search warrant because they were legally in possession of the computer, and Weiner gave them permission to look at the emails. They got a search warrant just to cover their fannies, dot their I's, cross their T's. They already know what's in the emails. My guess is, I haven't been told this yet, I think the 33,000 deleted ones are in there.
Yeah, that was my conjecture as well. That's really so. So with respect to those emails, what happens? What happens in the next week? Anything, or they're just going to be? This is just going to be under investigation through Election Day.
Well, I don't believe that Comey should say anything more. If he does, he's making another terrible mistake. He's already done enough damage to the Bureau. And forget him. He's done a tremendous amount of damage to himself, but I don't give one hoot about James Comey. Bottom line is he should shut up. He should let the process, and of course it will not be completed by Election Day. This is what she has chosen. This problem exists because she created a private server in the basement of her home in Chappaqua, New York. She can whine all she wants about James Comey. If she hadn't broken the law, which she did by setting up this server, notwithstanding what the FBI director said in his July news conference, she broke the law big time, or big league, as someone might say. Bottom line is, this is her problem. She created it, and the best proof of that is Neera Tanden's email, where she says, who the hell told her to do this? Who gave her the authority to do this? Now, her own people knew that this was goofy and stupid.
All right, so ABC said that some top senior FBI officials implored Comey not to go public with this. Is there any truth to that?
Those people are the same ones who told him to hold the news conference. Okay. So I don't know who these senior people at the Bureau are, but I can tell you this. They were completely undone by the rank-and-file FBI agents in New York who continued this investigation without notifying FBI headquarters or Main Justice. And by the way, Main Justice, headed by Loretta Lynch, is the most politically corrupt Department of Justice in the last 100 years. They are so unembarrassable that they continue to do and say things publicly that, believe me, are quite an embarrassment to graduates like myself of the Department of Justice. I've worked in Main Justice. I was a United States attorney. I was an assistant U.S. attorney. I've been a special prosecutor, and I watched the performance of this attorney general. She is one of the most embarrassing occupants of that office since John Mitchell.
Wow, that's a statement. Let me ask you this about the rank and file as well as Comey. This is conjecture, of course, but doesn't it defy reason that there would be anything short of having Hillary Clinton dead to rights for having violated the law with respect to what they suspect is on Anthony Weiner's computer for them to move forward and reopen it? There has to be something that rises the level of a smoking gun, right?
He would have never done this were he not already aware that there are things on the computer. There are obviously things about the Clinton Foundation, the pay-for-play. The most dangerous stuff in here for purposes of the way they are enforcing current law is perjury and obstruction. There is no doubt that there's evidence on there showing that Hillary lied, that members of her staff lied, that Ms. Mills lied, that the other woman who was a lawyer lied. I mean, that is the speculation now among agents in the Bureau who have not seen the headers on that. I think it would be a pretty good guess that there's fairly substantial information on there which would relate to the Clinton Foundation and to evidence of perjury and obstruction of justice. And if that's the case, then, of course, given what they had done with Petraeus and General Cartwright, and this poor midshipman who's doing a year in prison for taking photographs inside the submarine, if she were not, if there aren't going to be charges out of this at this point, it's going to get much, much worse. And if she happens to be elected, which is certainly conceivable given who the hell knows what's going to happen. If she's elected, can you imagine how she is going to govern this country?
She's going to turn over the reins to Vice President Tim Kaine, I suspect, with what you're suggesting could come to pass. All right, he is.
Did you see her doing that, taking the presidency out of her cold dead?
Yeah, no, I know.
No,
well,
she'll pardon herself.
That's up until the FBI jackets show up at her Brooklyn campaign office on November 8th. I don't know. Joe DiGenova, former U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. Joe, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Coming up next, Ron Hosko, former FBI Assistant Director and President for the Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund, joins us. But first, quickly, here's your forecast today. Sunny, breezy, a high of 60 degrees, and tomorrow's great. Plenty of sunshine, warm, a high of 74. Let's get those travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Amy, Veterans Memorial northbound, very slow now from the Boughton Toll to the Reagan Tollway, and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Then northbound 53 has delays from Beesterfield to Algonquin after a crash. Eden's 29 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 27. Kennedy now 54 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 49. The Ike 59 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, outbound it's 44. Stevenson 57 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37. Ryan 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. That's traffic, AM 560 The Answer.
Attention market watchers. Until recently, the market hadn't seen back-to-back days of 500-point losses since November of 2008. What if you had no market exposure? What if you didn't have to worry about the markets? How would you sleep? Leave the volatility behind. Hi, this is Jack Taboda. Our proprietary income strategies provide reliable, inflation-protected income, guaranteed for life, with no market exposure. Call me at 630-777-7955. That's 630-777-7955. You've worked hard to build your wealth. I work hard to protect it. 630-777-7955.
Insurance products may be presented and guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the insurance company represented. Securities offered through ProEquities Inc., a registered broker-dealer and member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Harvest Investment Services LLC, a registered investment advisor. Taboda and Associates and Harvest Investment Services LLC are independent of ProEquities Inc.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chuck Spaveri, CEO of Spaveri's Custom Counters, a Chicagoland manufacturer of residential and commercial countertops. If there's a local commercial bank who knows how to get a deal done, it's Signature Bank. When my brother and I needed it, Signature Bank came through with a creative financing solution. That's because Signature Bank has experience working with companies like ours, a second-generation, family-owned and operated manufacturer. Our business matters to Signature Bank, and that comes through in every visit and every phone call with their team, right up to the bank's co-founders, Kevin, Mick, and Brian. Spaveri's is proud to bank with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, let's hop right to it. Continuing our conversation following on our discussion with Joe DiGenova, former U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. We're now pleased to have former Assistant Director of the FBI and now the President of the Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund, Ron Hosko join us. Ron, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Sure, happy to be with you.
So our conversation with Joe DiGenova, he said Comey's hand was forced by the rank and file, that there was a full-on mutiny at FBI that prompted the announcement on Friday, the letter to members of Congress, and then ultimately this becoming public. Is that your take on it? Do you have any insight of your former agency?
I do, and that is not the information that I've heard. I did hear that the FBI senior leadership, in a relatively small group, had a open discussion about their options, whether they should go forward in this way, and some minds were changed during that discussion. They did hear some input from DOJ, but ultimately the director, I think, looks at himself and tries to find what's the right thing to do at this moment, and this is the path that they chose.
Well, there's 650,000 emails that were found. I mean, where do you go from here? How do you start?
Wow. Well, so first, the initial reporting was emails, and then it was, a lot of emails, then thousands, and then tens of thousands. And so if it is 650,000, I think the immediate piece of it, because of the election, is to try to compare this cache of emails against what they've already seen and evaluated and shared with the intelligence community to see what's classified or not, and come to some, understanding about what is in there that's new to us. What have we not seen, and what of it is classified? Is there a crime there in the way that's been transmitted, shared, stored? And then, what part of that goes to Hillary Clinton versus purely Huma Abedin?
Right. So dedupe the emails and then kind of rank order priority the classified. That makes sense. And it's worth noting, too, as far as we understand it, she's not one of the names that has been listed in the press as having an immunity deal with Justice, right? So she's in a different position than, say, some like Cheryl Mills, Hillary Clinton's former chief of staff, that at least had partial immunity.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I think there is some bad information that's out there that ought to be corrected. And I do, and I share the frustration of some of my former colleagues and retired folks who don't think the FBI is doing the best possible job in getting the truth out. The struggle here is when you have a criminal investigation, you tend not to talk about it at all. Mm-hmm. Because it's what the FBI does. You zip it up, you let an indictment speak or an arrest speak or a conviction speak, and then maybe there's a press conference afterwards. But here there's a lot of, I think, bad information out there, and I'll give you a couple of examples if you want.
Yeah, sure.
Please.
So there is a perception, I think, that the FBI handed out these blanket immunity deals like candy. Mm-hmm. And my understanding is that the two IT guys that got immunity deals were to get what they thought were low-level peripheral players in early on so they could, really get up to speed on what happened in this case on the technical side. And my understanding and belief is that neither of these were seen as complicit, as potential subjects, as intentional co-conspirators or anything of that sort. So they gave, the Bureau's view, I think, is that they traded away nothing to give those two deals. The other two, with regard to Mills and Samuelson, these are the folks that purportedly reviewed all of the emails that were still in their possession on a couple of devices and handed those devices over to the FBI. And those immunity deals were not any sort of blanket immunity. They were for purely the act of producing those suspect laptops. And so the FBI could turn around and say, hey, you just handed us classified laptops, we're going to charge you for the possession. And so that's a very, very narrow immunity deal. Again, so I don't think the public understands that or recognizes that if other criminality is shown,
then the FBI will go in that direction, and they will not be, buffered by these deals.
All right, fair point. Let me ask you something, though, about the Comey decision on Friday. If it wasn't the response to a mutiny, then what was the calculus to make this decision, do you suspect? What would you have advised as a former assistant director?
Well, first, he was put in this, unusual, extraordinary position by the bad judgment of the Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, in her getting on a plane or letting Clinton on her plane and having this, fairly lengthy meeting with Bill Clinton. So, she had to, because everyone was saying politics will be involved, she shot herself in the foot, and Jim Comey dove on a grenade that had her name on it. I do believe the FBI was going to come to the same conclusion, but now Comey decided to step into the breach and make the statement that he did, which was extraordinary back in May. And then it was Comey who told Congress, I will be, as fully transparent as I can under the law. And he went over and testified for 4 hours. And he committed to them to let them know about developments in this case because it had been, open and notorious, momentous. And I think this was just another step on that same treacherous path that Comey has been on since he stepped up in July because he felt he had to. And now I believe here, Comey felt he had an obligation to tell this Congress something material may have just changed, and I'm not in a position to sit on it for 2 weeks and let the election go by, because what if it is the smoking gun? What if it is those pieces that would lead to an indictment of the president-elect at that point, or her inner circle? And are you have guilty knowledge? You're pregnant with it, and at what point do you have to share? And I think Comey, at the end of the day, felt like he had made these representations to the overseers. He takes that government oversight seriously and felt compelled to do it.
All right. He is Ron Hosko, former assistant director of the FBI, now the president of the Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund. Ron, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your insights.
My pleasure.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
About 6 years ago, I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store without having to stop and rest. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560. The Answer.
Oh, what do you believe? DeGenova or
I don't know.
Hosko?
I mean, it may be a bit of a combination of both of what they suggest. It's really difficult. I mean, competing theories that are speculative, and we'll continue to do that with Chris Farrell, Director of Investigations for Judicial Watch, our shadow Department of Justice at 7:37.
And later, why a candidate in Michigan is campaigning for people not to vote for her. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and damage control. The order of the day for the Clinton campaign. After the FBI director announced the investigation into her emails had been reopened, Virginia Republican Congressman Bob Goodlatte is chair of the House Judiciary Committee. He talked with ABC's This Week about FBI Director James Comey yesterday.
We both encouraged him to make sure that the American people have as much information as possible before they have to make a decision on November 8th.
On the same program, California Democratic Congressman and ranking member on the House Intelligence Committee, Adam Schiff, says Comey's letter was ambiguous. Hillary Clinton campaigning today in the swing state of Ohio. Donald Trump has events planned in West Michigan, in Grand Rapids, and in Warren, Michigan, in suburban Detroit. Tense moments on a Florida runway. A Fort Lauderdale to Dallas flight had to be evacuated over a bomb threat. Autumn Lynn posted on Facebook that a man alerted flight attendants just before takeoff that he's seen a passenger texting about a bomb being on board.
He was an older man of Middle Eastern descent. They have finally pulled him off the plane. They ripped him out of the seat and dragged him off the plane.
Passengers on Spirit Airlines Flight 971 were also taken off that plane last night at the airport in Fort Lauderdale. Pope Francis traveling to secular Sweden today to mark the 500th anniversary of the Protestant Reformation, a rather bold gesture given that his own Jesuit religious order was founded to defend the faith against Martin Luther's heretical reforms, according to the Jesuits 5 centuries ago. Trick-or-treaters here in Chicago may have some nice weather for Halloween. The National Weather Service says temps could reach 60 today. Nice weather. Cubs earned themselves a return trip to Cleveland by extending the World Series to a 6th game. John Lester reached for 2 runs on 4 hits, striking out 5 over 6 innings. He was succeeded by Aroldis Chapman, who finished what Lester started, giving the Cubs a chance. Game 6 slated for Tuesday. Chicago coming off a bloody weekend. The Sun-Times reporting 16 killed, more than 3 dozen wounded in shootings across the city. NHL last night, Blackhawks blanked the LA Kings 3-0. And it's Monday Night Football tonight as the Vikings take on the Bears. The news a service of Staples with low prices on ink and toner and an in-stock guarantee to ensure you always get what you need fast. In-stock guarantee applies to in-store selection only. Out-of-stock ink and toner will be ordered from in-store kiosk with a $10 discount plus free shipping. Limit 1 cartridge per customer. 7:36 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Remodel your kitchen with Galaxy. Buy 1 cabinet and get 1 free with free financing and design services. Call 773-783-8300.
Check it out, it's the Terminator. Hey, when'd you get back, huh?
Did you have to shoot anyone? Why are you so distant? Are you not happy to see me?
So what's the deal? You gonna get a job now or what?
Why are you being so jumpy? Put all that stuff behind you, okay?
No one knows what it's like to come back from Iraq or Afghanistan unless they were there. Join other veterans at communityofveterans.org because we know where you're coming from. Brought to you by Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America and the Ad Council.
Maybe you're not a numbers guy. Maybe you don't know the difference between pi r squared and pi r round. Doesn't matter. Proving only the Mercedes-Benz Metris Worker cargo van stacks up is a piece of cake. The Metris Worker has 57 cubic feet more cargo volume than the Ford Transit Connect long wheelbase. That's about the size of a New York City apartment these days. And if you want to talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the room, you can carry 3 of them in the Metris Worker. With the Ford Transit Connect, the third gorilla walks. The Metris Worker has more capabilities than a Transit Connect, and with a $25,995 starting price, has a low cost of ownership. Ain't math grand? The Mercedes-Benz Metris Worker Cargo, starting at $25,995. See your local dealer or go to mbvans.com. Mercedes-Benz. Vans born to run.
Starting at price refers to base model Metris Worker Cargo Van. Excludes all options, taxes, title, registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep fee. Comparison based on publicly available vehicle specifications for the 2016 Ford Transit Connect long wheelbase.
Hi, this is Shalom Klein of Get Down to Business, the show for small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship, powered by Tandem HR.
401k plans have become a widely accepted retirement savings vehicle. An estimated 53 million U.S. workers participate in 401k plans today. Business owners offering retirement savings plans help employees save for their future and are often seen as desirable places to work, attract and retain the best employees while earning tax savings for your business. According to the American Benefit Council, nearly 80% of full-time workers have access to employer-sponsored retirement plans. Are you a small or mid-sized business not currently offering a retirement plan? Contact Tandem HR today to find out how to add this and other affordable benefits to compete for talent. Visit tandemhr.com. That's tandemhr.com.
For more tips, advice, and stories of entrepreneurial successes, listen to Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, heard Sunday afternoons at 6. Your Business Minute of the Day is powered by Tandem HR.
Rain, sleet, and snow are coming to threaten your visibility and turn your commute into a battle. But the Michelin Man is ready to protect you with Michelin Stealth Wiper Blades. Exclusive SmartFlex technology makes these blades flex to the curve of your windshield, giving you the best wipe possible and streak-free, long-lasting performance for safer driving. Winter is coming, and when it arrives, be ready. Michelin Wiper Blades. It doesn't get any clearer than this. Available at Walmart, Pep Boys, Home Depot, and other fine retailers.
Hey there, this is Eric Metaxas. Lately, I've been telling you about Liberty University's online degree programs. Liberty University is the world's largest Christian university with over 95,000 students studying around the world through Liberty's online programs. While there are a lot of universities who've jumped into online education, few can deliver on the promise of a quality education with such flexibility, and even fewer can actually point to a graduate of their online program like my friend Morgan from Nashville.
I did it. I actually got my degree from Liberty University. 2 degrees, actually. Not only has this process taught me self-discipline, I've also learned that it is never too late to fulfill your dreams. And I did it all online. I did it, and you can too.
Call Liberty University now at 800-424-9595. That's 800-424-9595, 800-424-9595, or visit liberty.edu/online. Flexible, affordable, possible. Liberty University Online.
Let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim.
Ike, the Edens is 23 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 35. The Kennedy now an hour from O'Hare to downtown, outbound 49 minutes. The Eisenhower an hour. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 55 minutes. Stevenson 57 minutes, 355 Lakeshore Drive, outbound 44. The Ryan 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. Fairly routine stuff on the tollways. Traffic as a service. Firestone Complete Auto Care. Be prepared for winter, spring, summer, and fall with Firestone FR710 all-season tires. Now 10% off at Firestone Complete Auto Care. Whatever you drive a Firestone. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Partly sunny and breezy today, high near 60. Currently 42. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So we're taking your wiener jokes, your favorite New York Post wiener headlines, and your wiener internet memes all morning. Just interspersing them.
Yes.
I've got an internet meme I particularly like. Amy, are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
She denied, lied, broke devices, bleached her server, but forgot to wash her wiener.
There you go.
It's a sad,
yeah. I mean,
sad
we're
epitaph for Uma.
Learning this morning that possibly 650,000 emails were on Anthony Weiner's laptop that he shared with Huma.
Can you imagine how many?
I mean, my gosh.
Nom de plumes for his twittering purposes are in those emails. But on a serious note, with respect to the emails, we're pleased to be joined by representative from the Judicial Watch. I was going to say the Department of Justice because that's what Judicial Watch has acted as during the Obama regime, during the Holder and particularly the Loretta Lynch years, FOIAing emails and trying to get to the bottom of everything from Benghazi to the homebrew server. We're pleased to be joined by Chris Farrell, who's the director of said investigations at Judicial Watch, judicialwatch.org. Chris, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Great to be on. Thanks very much.
So how do you assess what happened on Friday with all of the groundwork that Judicial Watch has been doing through the courts and through FOIA to try and get to the truth with respect to Hillary and the emails pertaining to classified information?
Well, the original press briefing that Director Comey made on the 2nd of July, actually, I guess it was the 5th of July, was really shameful because it was clear that they essentially threw the investigation. They interviewed Mrs. Clinton without Mirandizing her, without reading her rights, which means that they didn't consider her a suspect or a subject of the investigation. They were interviewing her as a cooperating witness, which is preposterous because it's her server, it's her email. The Inspector General of the Intelligence Community had already identified top secret material, went over that server. And so to pretend that she's just a cooperating witness tells me, from the outside looking in, that they weren't serious, because if you're a federal law enforcement officer and you believe that you're talking to someone who's committed the crime, you have to read them their rights. And so that was the first indicator of serious, serious problems back in July. And now what I think has happened is agents in New York pursuing other angles or other aspects of this investigation, both the freaky, weird Anthony Weiner sexting thing with the teenage girl, but also Clinton Foundation matters. I think that those two efforts out of New York raised issues that could no longer be swept under the carpet or ignored or buried, and it put the FBI director in a position where he had to come forward and reveal that there was additional damning evidence.
Do you think on those 650,000 emails that the 30,000 deleted emails of Hillary Clinton's could be there?
Easily. I mean, it's one of these, the known unknowns. I don't want to sound like Rumsfeld, but really that's kind of what we're left with. We know that there's a universe of records that Mrs. Clinton absconded with. We know she tried to destroy roughly half of them, and that she went ahead and even used BleachBit, or she had her underlings use BleachBit to try to really scramble the records forever. But, is that everything that was ever written? No. And frankly, her inner circle, the Cheryl Mills, Huma Abedin sort of layer of associates, they're the ones, managing her time and her schedule and her meetings. And so the stuff that they say, frankly, is also very pertinent and important to get to understand. And so, this is a problem of when you deliberately ditch an investigation because it's politically awkward, that doesn't mean all the evidence disappears. And now we have new evidence that I think the director of the FBI can't turn a blind eye to because there's too many agents who know, frankly. And now we're in this position where, they probably should have impaneled the grand jury and done something months and months ago. But now they're in this crazy position a week out from an election.
Would you compare this to discovering that there was a recording system in the White House during the Nixon years? Or is it too soon to make such comparisons, that the discovery of this computer?
That's not an unreasonable comparison because, this is these are all self-inflicted wounds by Mrs. Clinton, right? Mm-hmm. She's the one who dreamed up this idea of having this outside server. She's the one who was trying to hide or protect or in some way shield her activities from public scrutiny. They're the ones who set up this foundation, which is basically a money laundering operation. And then they announce, oh, yeah, by the way, if we win the presidency, then we'll stop taking foreign money, which is like a dog whistle to every foreign organization or tin pot dictator to hurry up and get their money in, right? This is craziness. And the fact that, you're not supposed to look at it, you're not supposed to call it what it is, or you're supposed to soft pedal it and downplay it because, it's the Clintons. Well, right. No. It's the opposite.
Yeah, her strategy moving forward now, she's acting like the victim. This is unprecedented for the FBI to even announce that there's an investigation going on so close to an election.
And disclose everything.
For a Secretary of State to act in such a reckless criminal fashion. I mean, that's the other half of the equation, right?
And what about her newfound interest in transparency? Disclose everything.
Fascinating, isn't it? I mean, look, this is also part of the victimology and the blame game. So they demand, of course, they're in no position to demand anything, but they demand the complete release of everything, knowing that there's no way in the world the FBI GI can reasonably do that. And then when they don't get their demand met, then they cry, oh, we're being persecuted, we're victims, this is unfair. Well, I mean, who created this entire monstrosity? They did.
Are you concerned? Are you concerned at all, though, that the Jim Comey standard of intent that he intuited into the statutes regarding handling classified information, not used in the with some others who have been prosecuted, but nonetheless, how do you look at that? Do you look at that as now that's still a pending issue, or the FBI must have something that either is conclusive in terms of perjury or obstruction of justice, or establishes the intent that Jim Comey said the previous emails didn't, in order for them to do what they did on Friday?
Yeah, I have the advantage of looking at this as a former special agent of Army counterintelligence. I've actually prosecuted mishandling of national defense information cases. So I am intimately familiar with 18 U.S.C. Section 793F. And that section of the law, there is no requirement. The intent is not an element of the crime. It simply is not there. And so anybody who tells you otherwise is either terribly misinformed or they're lying. It's not an element of the crime. Intent is irrelevant. The fact that the harm was caused to the United States is the crime. So if the FBI director continues to manufacture this new sort of false higher bar for prosecuting 793F, then he continues to lie to the American public. So that is the point that sticks in my craw, is people who have done a fraction of what Mrs. Clinton has done, have either been put in jail, dishonorably discharged from the military, fined. I mean, all sorts of horrible, negative, career-ending, life reevaluating sort of events for doing just a tiny fraction of what she's done.
All right. He is Chris Farrell, Director of Investigations for Judicial Watch, judicialwatch.org. Chris, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
He joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
It's Halloween. Forgot to mention that. October 31st, and it's going to be partly sunny, breezy, a high of 60 degrees.
I have another wiener text.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I got to read this. Text from 219. Hillary cries faster to latest wiener revelation.
That's a good one. And it's going to be great around here tomorrow. We're going to have plenty of warmth, sunshine, a few high clouds, but get this, a high of 74 degrees. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Inbound Bishop Ford jammed 159th to Dalton Avenue with a rollover crash in the two right lanes, about a 15-minute delay. Eden's 23 minutes, like Cook to Montrose, outbound 35. Kennedy an hour, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 49 minutes. The Eisenhower's an hour, Thorndale to the Loop, outbound now 55 minutes. Stevenson, 57 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 44. The Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. That's traffic, AM 560, The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. The FBI delivers a stunning development in the presidential campaign, and AutoNation is on the move. Those stories next.
Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. The stock market crash of 2008 wiped out as much as 50% of IRA or 401k accounts. Can you afford to lose again if the next crash comes? What if you could store your IRA or 401k where you can see, touch, and hold it in your hands? Well, with the Augusta Gold and Silver IRA, you can transfer retirement savings into physical coins and store them where you can actually hold them in your hands, where you can get your gold fast in a disaster. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 855-222-6993 and receive a free gold and silver IRA guide. There is no obligation. It's rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Augusta Precious Metals enjoys a 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 855-222-6993. That's 855-222-6993. 855-222-6993.
Amid charges, it's been tilting coverage toward Hillary Clinton. The news industry suddenly faces a new challenge. FBI Director James Comey today informing Congress he's reopened the FBI investigation into Mrs. Clinton's private email scandal based on new information apparently found on devices owned by former New York Congressman Anthony Weiner and husband of Clinton aide Huma Abedin. The economy grew at a 2.9% rate in the third quarter, double that of the second quarter, but not enough to convince economists. Exports rebounded. Businesses did begin restocking their shelves. On Wall Street today, stocks ended mixed. The Dow Jones Industrials down 8 points. AutoNation, the largest car dealership in America, announced it will sell its own auto replacement parts. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Hey, today's Halloween, which means we're going to be celebrating the holidays soon, and I know the perfect holiday gift. Did you guess? Yes, it is a MyPillow. And MyPillow will extend their money-back guarantee through March. Plus, if you buy one premium MyPillow, you still get the second one and 2 additional Go Anywhere MyPillows for free. So you're actually getting 2 premium and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows for the price of only one, plus that extended money-back guarantee. It is their best offer ever. The National Sleep Foundation made MyPillow their official pillow. I love it because it's washable to remove germs, sweat, things that cause allergies, acne, and asthma. And you'll sleep better, too. I guarantee it. So visit MyPillow.com, click the Radio Listener Special tab, and use the promo code Amy. Again, you'll get 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere for the price of one, plus the extended money-back guarantee through March for your holiday gifts. Or you can call this number, 800-489-0201. Mention the Radio Listener Special and be sure to use the promo code Amy. That's MyPillow.com or 800-489-0201.
On AM 560, The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about balance of nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true, and it's only natural.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
And now, a moment of objectivism with Yaron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
You may be familiar with a popular quote ascribed to Ayn Rand that says, "The question isn't who's going to let me, it's who's going to stop me." If you find this inspirational, you're not alone. It's like saying, I don't need anyone's permission to live my life as long as nobody stops me. I'll prove myself. Ayn Rand never said those exact words, but their source is a passage from her best-selling novel, The Fountainhead. The novel's hero, Howard Rourke, is talking to the dean who's just expelled him from architectural school. The dean thinks Rourke's uncompromising independence will sabotage his career, but Rourke has different concerns. To find out more, read The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
If you enjoy Yaron Brooks' Moments of Objectivism, consider making a gift to support content like this from the Ayn Rand Institute. ARI fosters a growing awareness, understanding, and acceptance of Ayn Rand's philosophy of objectivism to create a culture guided by the principles of reason, rational self-interest, individualism, and laissez-faire capitalism. To support this work, go to ariradio.com and click on the Donate button. Your tax-deductible gift will help to spread the message of Ayn Rand to the next generation.
The most recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act made one thing certain. We will all have to deal with this ever-changing law until at least 2017. If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. That's right, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating AM 560 listeners on the Affordable Care Act for the last 5 years.
Thanks, Dan. From now until January 31st, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition. Aetna, Coventry, United Healthcare, and Harkin Health no longer offer health insurance subsidies even if you qualify. One company still does, and they still offer plans that provide access to Northwestern Memorial, University of Chicago, and Rush University Medical Centers. Call me. I can help.
Thanks, Steve. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. The FBI has a search warrant to review all the new emails it has in the reopened probe into Hillary Clinton's private server.
He's accusing the director of the FBI of possibly breaking the law by violating the Hatch Act, which bars FBI officials from using their authority to influence an election. Senator Reid sent him a letter last night that reads in part, quote, "Your actions in recent months have demonstrated a disturbing double standard for the treatment of sensitive information with what appears to be a clear intent to aid one political party over another."
Fox's Kristen Fisher on what the Democratic Senate leader Harry Reid said. Republican Congressman Trey Gowdy calls the senator a political hack. Donald Trump said in New Mexico,
Hillary Clinton is not the victim. You, the American people, are the victims of this corrupt system.
He'll rally in Michigan today. Hillary Clinton says it's all noise and distraction.
I want you to know I am focused on one thing, you. Your lives, your future.
That was in Florida. Today she'll go to Ohio. Michael Vance is no longer on the run. He's dead. The wanted killer was killed in a police shootout last night in Oklahoma. Vance wounded a police officer. A week ago, he injured two other cops, and police say he murdered his aunt and uncle. Jury selection starts today in South Carolina to put a former white police officer on trial in the shooting of a black driver at a traffic stop. Cubs fans aren't ready to say better luck next year. They stayed alive in the World Series last night. Fox's Jeff Manasso was at Game 5, now live in Chicago.
Dave, the Cubs survive elimination with a 3-2 win over the Indians in their first World Series game victory at Wrigley Field since 1945.
Very, very, very big win.
Super excited for the Cubs and for all of Chicago.
Not gonna lie, if we weren't up 3-1, I would not have come. I only came because I knew I had the cushion. Like, this doesn't hurt that bad.
Cubs and Indians fan reaction there as the series shifts to Cleveland for Game 6 at Progressive Field tomorrow, where all the Indians need is one more win with a decisive Game 7 if necessary, Dave, on Wednesday.
This is Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Clouds and sun, we have 45 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Trick-or-treaters in for a treat. Some nice Halloween weather for today. Temps about 60 for the early afternoon trick-or-treating, 57 later on. Cubs have earned themselves a return trip to Cleveland, extending the World Series to a Game 6, thanks to Aroldis Chapman and John Lester. A pretty good pitching performance, and a Cubs 3-2 victory, energizing the fans outside Wrigley.
What's going to happen now? They're going to go to Cleveland and continue this stretch, hopefully.
Game 6 slated for Tuesday, possible Game 7 at Progressive Field Wednesday. Turning to other news this morning, a federal investigator says engine pieces from that American Airlines plane that caught fire at O'Hare have been found thousands of feet away from that engine failure and explosion. Chicago coming off a bloody weekend. 16 killed, more than 36 wounded in shootings across the city since last Friday. A Lucky Day Lotto ticket worth $600,000 sold last week in suburban Hoffman Estates, but it remains unclaimed. The ticket was purchased at a mobile gas station on Roselle Road, matching all 5 numbers drawn on Tuesday evening. NHL last night, Blackhawks beat the Kings 3-0. Corey Crawford, solid, 32 saves. Monday Night Football tonight. Vikings and Bears, and it is the return of Jay Cutler at quarterback. The news, a service of the Positive Coaching Alliance. If you're involved in youth or high school sports, you need to know about Positive Coaching Alliance. PCA is a national nonprofit organization developing better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. For more information, visit positivecoach.org. 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network in a service of Turnkey.pro. Here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, telecom company CenturyLink is buying Level 3 Communications. The Wall Street Journal says the deal is worth approximately $25 billion. CenturyLink, based in Louisiana, provides communications and data services to customers in 37 states. Level 3 provides technology and content delivery for internet carriers. CenturyLink's been seeking to upgrade its network with fiber optic lines in a bid to compete with AT&T and Verizon. General Electric is combining its oil and gas business with Baker Hughes. The Wall Street Journal says the new unit will allow GE to compete with rivals who provide equipment and services to oil rigs and wells. Americans are spending $8.4 billion on Halloween this year. The estimate from the National Retail Federation, it's the highest level since they started doing the survey. The Dow was down 8 points on Friday. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
8:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Here's some great news. Jack Tabota of Tabota & Associates can help you with your retirement game plan. You know Jack, or you should. Jack is the president and founder of Tabota & Associates. He's been helping folks just like you retire successfully for 3 decades. Jack has the insight, information, strategies, and experience you can use to build wealth and keep it. Live good. Retire well with Jack Tabota of Tabota & Associates. 630-777-7955. 630-777-7955.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Mortgage rates have dropped again. In fact, recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. Now is the time for you to take advantage of these historically low rates and save serious money every month by refinancing your mortgage. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 3.5%, APR 3.57%. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN to see how far we can lower your mortgage payment. For 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 3rd year, they also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. This ultra-low rate of 3.5% won't last long. So call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
It is 8:06. Check of the roads, AM 560 traffic center time. And here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Traffic slows on the eastbound Eden Spur past Waukegan Road. Then it's Heavy Church to the junction. 23 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 26th. Kennedy. Heavy at an hour and 9 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 42 minutes from Montrose. 35 in the Express. Outbound 49 to the airport. The Eisenhower's 1 hour from Thorndale to the Loop, 43 minutes from Manhunt, outbound 55 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 57 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 44. Ryan is 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State slows 75th most of the way to 31st. Then from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve. Adams Tollway heavy, the Elgin Toll to 31, and Bussy to the Des Plaines Oasis. The Reagan Tollway, mid-tight Naperville to Yackley, Veterans Memorial. Stop and go, the Boughton Toll, Reagan Tollway, and Lake to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, partly sunny and warm, breezy for the afternoon, high 60. Tonight, partly cloudy and breezy, low 57, but temperatures rise into the middle 60s overnight. Warmer tomorrow with sun and some clouds, high 74. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
42 at O'Hare, 47 along the lakefront. Next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Monday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Some of you may have heard about a letter that the FBI director sent out yesterday.
Director Comey came to a conclusion. We believe that voters have already made up their minds on this issue, so we find it very strange that 10 days out that he's putting this letter out there.
Do you want the fair result? Yes. A special prosecutor should be appointed. And a special prosecutor, non-Republican, non-Democrat, should redo this whole investigation.
Hillary has nobody but herself to blame for her mounting legal problems.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning. What up, Dan and Amy? And boy, I tell you what, Trump is talking about draining the swamp by instituting term limits. I like this better. Drain the swamp of Mr. and Mrs. Carlos Danger. Ugh. Drain the swamp of Mr. and Mrs. Bob Creamer by sending them the way of Mr. and Mrs. Jesse Jackson Jr. in Illinois. Wouldn't that be nice if that's how this all turns out?
To serve consecutive sentences.
That's exactly right.
For the sake of the child, that poor kid.
This was fascinating. The response to Friday's sonic boom from the FBI from Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid was to issue a threatening letter to Jim Comey suggesting that he may be in violation of the Hatch Act and subject to federal prosecution himself. That's implied by suggesting he's violating the Hatch Act. His decision to reopen the investigation is the equivalent of campaigning, electioneering, using federal resources in furtherance of Donald Trump's campaign. That's what Harry Reid suggested. And here's what our friend Trey Gowdy, Republican congressman from South Carolina, had to say about that letter. Gowdy, a former prosecutor, Gowdy on with our other friend, Brett Baer, special report on Friday. Trey Gowdy's priceless reaction.
To Jim Comey, your actions in recent months have demonstrated a disturbing double standard for the treatment of sensitive information and what appears to be a clear intent to aid one political party over the other. I'm writing to inform you that my office has determined that these actions may violate the Hatch Act, which bars FBI officials from using their official authority to influence an election. Through your partisan actions, this is Harry Reid, you may have broken the law. The double standard established by your actions is clear. Your reaction, Congressman?
Thank God he's leaving is my initial reaction. My second reaction is I did not know Mormons use drugs, and anyone who is capable of sending out that press release has to be under the influence of something. The person responsible for this fact pattern is Secretary Clinton. Jim Comey did not tell her to use a private server.
By the way, Mike Scott, our newsman, has pointed this out. This continues to be misreported by the D.C. press corps about the Hatch Act that's referenced here, as if it only applies to FBI employees. It applies to the entire federal government. So, Senator Reid, would you say that the IRS and illegally targeting people based on their political beliefs and religious beliefs under IRS Commissioner Koskinen and Lois Lerner, would you say they're using their federal positions to influence elections on behalf of one political party? I mean, it's just priceless that Harry Reid would send such a letter, and it speaks to, I think, how damaging what Jim Comey did on Friday is to the Clinton campaign and the Clinton narrative in the closing days.
He and other top Democratic senators, they're drawing the line. They want information, the focus released today. I mean, they wrote in that letter, too, that there's a deadline of October 31st.
Yeah,
well, that's
October
today,
31st,
and I don't think that's going to
else.
happen.
Well, let's talk to a leading Republican United States senator. He is our friend from the North. He is U.S. Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin. Senator Johnson, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, guys. How you doing? I'm running against Senator Feingold, who has his own email scandal. We certainly, there have been some people wondering whether he violated the Hatch Act when he was a special envoy in the State Department, still talking to John Tester at the DSCC about running for this Senate seat. So there's been 2 years outstanding when the FOIA requests of his emails have not been honored. Apparently, they may be giving us some access before the election, but otherwise they're going to dump them in December. So now there's corruption throughout the highest levels of government. And let me tell you what drives me nuts about this whole email scandal. To me, I'm not a lawyer. This is pretty clear cut. You look at the two statutes that I believe that Secretary Clinton violated, and I'm really asking your listeners to read these things. 18 U.S. Code 2071, sections A and B, and 18 U.S. Code 793, subsection F. I'm going to leave some of the words out because it's a lot of gobbledygook, but it's pretty simple.
Okay.
2071 says, whoever willfully conceals, destroys any record of the United States shall be fined or imprisoned not more than 3 years and be disqualified from holding any office of the United States. 793 is talking about the unlawful possession and basically mishandling of information dealing with the national defense through gross negligence shall be fined or imprisoned for not more than 10 years. These are serious offenses. I think it's just obvious this is exactly what Secretary Clinton did, what her aides did. And the fact of the matter is, we all know when we're sending an email, whether it's a Gmail account, whether it's a state.gov classified account, President Obama was emailing Secretary Clinton to her ClintonEmail.com account and yet denied that he knew anything about it. Listen, I think everybody in government who communicated with Secretary Clinton had to know that she was using an email system outside the State Department classified system. To me, they're all called both. And, Director Comey's investigation, I think, has been public from the start. I think it's designed more not to uncover the truth and prosecute, but to cover up the truth and exonerate. And I think that's what we're seeing why he's in such hot water today.
Do you think, considering what happened in this latest investigation, that she should have her security clearance revoked or yanked, she along with her inner circle?
Well, yes. I mean, let's face it. If her name wasn't Hillary Clinton, if she was just applying for a low-level position, the State Department asked for a low-level security clearance, she couldn't get it. I don't think, based on the fact pattern, she could be confirmed for any position by the United States Senate. And yet, because I don't believe this has been properly reported, it's been obfuscated. We end up, going to all this complexity. It's not complex. It's very simple. You can't conceal or destroy federal records. All of her emails were federal records. The ones weren't personal. And, of course, we know she had classified material. We know she supposedly destroyed, she tried to destroy federal records. And you cannot mishandle records related to national defense. She exposed those to her enemies. She exposed them to Anthony Weiner. Okay, so if those things are on Anthony Weiner's device, I bet you Russians, Chinese, the Iranians probably have those things too. And how could their actions been modified or affected by what they found out reading Secretary Clinton's emails? I mean, this is such dangerously reckless behavior, grossly negligent. She violated these laws. I think it's crystal clear. I can't believe Director Comey didn't recommend indictment. The Department of Justice. Well, I can't believe it because it's a corrupt organization.
A local columnist here in Chicago, John Cash, Chicago Tribune, I'm sure you're familiar with him, he suggested that if the Democrats want to abide the standards they suggest they have for themselves, then they should call on Hillary Clinton to step aside.
They should. Again, you just read the law. She should be disqualified from holding any office under the United States. You take a look at the immunity agreements granted to Cheryl Mills and Heather Samuelson. That's what points to a corrupt investigation. Saying that you would only allow the review over a certain time period of information on their laptops, and then supposedly they're going to agree to destroy those laptops so it couldn't be used in any further investigation. I mean, again, this was willful ignorance on the part of the investigation, or the part of the investigators, as far as I'm concerned. It's been a corrupt process from the beginning, and we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. But it does point to corruption at the highest levels of government, in the White House, in the Department of Justice, FBI, and the State Department. And it is a swamp that needs to be drained. And
he is Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson. He's running against Russ Feingold as a Hillary Clinton surrogate up in Wisconsin. And our friends north of the Cheese Curtain, this is the critical race for the United States Senate. Ron Johnson, reelecting Ron Johnson. Senator Johnson, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Have a great day. And just remember, Feingold actually thinks Secretary Clinton's trustworthy. Think about that for a minute.
We'll ponder that.
Says
Thank
it
you.
all. Thanks, Senator Johnson. And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Oh, Dan, I forgot to say happy Halloween. I know how you love and embrace this holiday, and thanks for dressing up.
I've been waiting all morning. I thought you forgot.
And the forecast for trick-or-treating today is going to be nice. Partly sunny skies, breezy, a high of 60 degrees tonight, a low of 57, so the temperature is not going to dip too much. And tomorrow, just a spectacular day. Warm, sun, a few high clouds, but get this, a high of 74 degrees. So set your tea times now. Tea time. Let's go to the traffic center and say hello to Jim Talamonte. Are you wearing a costume today, Jim?
No, not at all, Amy. Thanks. Good morning. Traffic's scary enough. On the inbound Kennedy, your inbound Kennedy, Amy, it's jammed from Nagel to Ohio, where there's a stall in the left center lane. It is an hour and 20 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 55 minutes from Montrose, and 47 on the Express. Outbound 45 minutes downtown to O'Hare. The Edens, 24 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 26. The Eisenhower, an hour, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 55 minutes. Stevenson, 57 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 44. The Ryan is 23 minutes from 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive delays are southbound from Bryn Mawr to North Avenue, then from 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Tolleys aren't too bad, really. Northbound Tri-State still heavy. Plainfield Road to the Hinsdale Oasis and Ogden to 31st. Then from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Northwest Indiana's clear. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
That's me, ChicagoRadioDeals.com. You know, every guy dreads that honey-do list. So give yourself a weekend off and check out ChicagoRadioDeals.com for some home improvement help. Dan, how's the air quality in your home? Allergens could be affecting the air you breathe. Well, Royal Home Comfort Services is offering several deals at half off their normal prices to improve the air quality in your home. Purchase a full home air duct cleaning for only $195. Now, this deal includes all your ducts and an inspection of your furnace as well. They also have a deal to rid your home of unwanted bacteria, including mold, by using a natural cleansing agent to keep your family safe and healthy. But wait, there's more. Royal Home Comfort also has a deal to clean and inspect your home dryer vent for only $45. Now, if you want to tackle a project yourself, well, then shop at a great local hardware store with personal customer service. Purchase the Addison Building Materials $100 gift certificate for only $50. Addison Building Materials is a true value retailer. For more home improvement deals, just visit ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
My name is David Hochberg, Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. Billy wanted to contact a realtor before purchasing a home in Arlington Heights. Bad move. Not getting pre-qualified by me before talking to a realtor is like skydiving without a parachute. I pre-qualified Billy to purchase a home and introduced him to Donna Sattler, my preferred Arlington Heights realtor. If you're purchasing a home, call me first. I'll pre-qualify you for free and introduce you to my experienced team of preferred realtors who will help you locate the perfect home. My team of real estate experts will always look out for your financial best interest. If you're buying a home, give me a call now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. I've helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License D4358, RMLA, NMLS 19186.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Mortgage rates have dropped again. In fact, recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. Now is the time for you to take advantage of these historically low rates and save serious money every month by refinancing your mortgage. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 3.5%. APR 3.57%. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN to see how far we can lower your mortgage payment. For 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the third year, they also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. This ultra-low rate of 3.5% won't last long. So call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
AM 560. The Answer.
Highway to the Carlos danger zone, wouldn't you say? Oh, you see what I did there?
Yes. I'm worried about the ladies. I mean, they call Huma Hillary's shadow because they're together all the time. And
not all the time anymore.
Yeah, Saturday she was off the campaign trail, and I don't think we're going to see her for the next 9 days.
You think they're going to break up?
It's not looking good.
Can you
imagine her political career going to hell in a handbag because of Anthony Weiner and the sexting scandal? It's just.
Do you find it ironically symmetrical that Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton both suffered severe political trouble because of a wiener?
Oh, hey, all morning long.
Thank you very much. We'll take your wiener jokes, your favorite wiener memes, your favorite wiener New York Post headlines. We want to savor the wiener. You know what I mean? Mike
Hail
and Waukegan.
To the wiener.
Hey, Mike and Waukegan, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, the real hero here is Anthony Weiner's subconscious. The guy was obviously in a sexless marriage, left to his own devices. Pardon the pun. And he's a former congressman, and his career was ruined, and his wife was right there in the inner circle, and his subconscious said, you know what, if I really get into some real trouble here, they're going to come look at all these devices.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe this was the plan all along.
Sabotage?
Oh, yeah.
Well, what do you think? Because, Uma was not one of those who had, at least as reported, any sort of immunity deal. Do you think maybe they get to Uma if there's something troubling with the emails on the shared computer, and Uma rolls up on Hillary, and the love affair is really over?
And there's 650,000 alleged emails that were on that laptop of his that they shared, and that could be. I love your thing or your idea that those 30,000 deleted emails could be a part of that 650,000.
The 33,000 missing emails, yeah, and if you were going to offload those, delete them and offload them somewhere safe, who would you give them to? Your trusted aide, your shadow.
Best friend, your go-to girl.
Remember, Uma was inextricably linked to all of Clinton Inc. She was on the State Department payroll. She was on the Clinton Foundation payroll. She was doing consulting work for Teneo, that operation, that consulting operation that was fronting for Bill Clinton for speaking fees. They're all allied organizations, and Uma was right at the center with a handful of others.
God, they really are mob bosses. Whew.
Capos. She's the mob boss. Jeff in Arlington Heights.
Hey, Dan, Amy. I hear crickets coming from Barack Obama on all this, and I'm just wondering, he selected Hillary to be his Secretary of State knowing she was corrupt. He stuck with her through the whole tenure of this corruption, and now he's campaigning for her after the fact. What does she have over him, and is that going to come out in this investigation?
Thanks for the call, Jeff. I don't think she has anything over him. I think this is Barack Obama saying, in order to extend my legacy, I have to take Hillary Clinton because it won't happen with Trump and congressional Republicans. They'll undo it. So in order to extend Obamacare and the other things I've done and want to do to refashion America, I need to have another Alinskyite in the White House, and that's Hillary Clinton. The interesting thing to me, and take your reactions to this, too, starting with you, Amy. I think that if she loses, she will not be preemptively pardoned by Barack Obama because he has.
Really?
They don't have any use for her. They don't like the Clintons. The Clintons and the Obamas don't like each other.
No.
This is a Machiavellian relationship of political convenience. But if she
that hug wasn't real between Michelle and Hillary the other day?
I hate to break it to you.
Oh, no. So you don't think he would pardon her?
If she wins, I think it's possible to likely. If she loses, I think he throws her to the wolves. That's what I think.
Oh, and that would be the last chapter of her book.
Oh, and a fitting one. A happy ending. Speaking of Wiener.
Hey,
Dave in Willowbrook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We can't stop.
Dan, I disagree. I think we all need to be looking for a pardon from Obama. But in addition, given the fact that Huma is a Muslim, related to the Clintons, also look for a Clinton-style honor killing.
Oh my God.
Okay,
he's not joking.
I wish he was. I hope he is.
Let's just pretend that he was joking.
A former assistant director of the FBI, and we talked to one this morning, but another one, Jim Kallstrom, was on with Jeanine Pirro over the weekend on Fox, Judge Pirro, and He suggested that something big is coming. It's interesting to get the differing opinions from former agency folks.
I think there's something happening. I mean, people are asking me, what is this about? I think something big is going to happen. I don't know what it is.
In the next 10 days.
It's just my gut feeling.
In the next 10 days.
Yeah, I think so.
So he wouldn't have come out unless he knew it was coming out.
Well, I think he couldn't hold on to it any longer.
Right.
Okay? Because who knows? I mean, maybe the locals would have stepped in on this thing.
New York City would have done it. That's my take.
Who knows? And then he'd really be in the doghouse
He'd be
big
embarrassed
time.
big time. I think.
Yeah, and I don't think the Clinton response of demanding, pretending
that they're the victims.
Right. Then they're interested in transparency.
Yeah,
they want
all the media. Like, what is the focus of this investigation?
Like I said at the outset,
they want it out.
This is reminiscent of Jesse Jackson Jr. Bring it on, and then it got brought, and then he went away. Sean in Elmwood Park.
You asked what Clinton had over Obama. I'm shocked at this. It's always the money. The Clintons are the Democrat version of the Bushes. Reagan would have never taken the old man Bush if it wasn't for the money. They control the flow of the money, which is exactly
She doesn't have that. She doesn't have that overall.
Exactly what you support.
Stop talking
You're
over.
Always promoting more money.
Stop talking over me, you clown. She doesn't have any control over Obama because of money. What are you talking about? Now you can finish. Now you can finish.
What is it?
She doesn't have anything over Obama.
When she's gone, Chelsea Bidet-face will be right in the spot. Just like every Bush is going to come out of the woodwork. They're here forever.
Yeah.
It's about the money.
Sean, Sean, yelling it doesn't make it more persuasive. She has nothing over President Obama.
You like the button. You hang up on the button. Don't worry. Give me a half hour. I'll eat your lunch.
Yeah.
Okay.
The tough guy, Sean from Elmwood Park.
I want you guys to take it out back.
Yeah, he's going for.
It's always about the money. Restrain the money. Handcuff the money. Stop making them billionaires.
You're a fortune cookie, Sean.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Scott Turf, the host of Power Trading Radio. Like the game Texas Hold'em, are you all in the financial markets? Because if you're all in the financial markets, you know what's going to happen. There's a high probability you're going to lose a big portion of your portfolio. So what I've set up here is I've set up a DVD of the 10 Laws of Risk Management DVD, and you're also going to receive a class that's valued over $500. All you need to do right now is give me a call at 888-984-8723. Don't be like one of these people in Texas Hold'em when you're all in, because a lot of people are all into the financial markets. How are you going to protect your bucket of wealth? The 10 Laws of Risk Management DVD. Right now, Chicago, give me a call at 888-984-8723. Please don't be one of these people that go all in, because the markets are volatile. The markets are going to be going up. The markets are going to be going down. Here at Online Trading Academy, we can help you protect your wealth. So right now, Chicago, give me a call at 888-984-8723. That's 888-984-8723.
AM 560, The Answer.
And coming up next on Chicago's Morning Answer.
A little bit of a local angle, but we'll continue to get your reactions to the Comey bombshell. But a local angle is, why do Illinois state workers have Election Day off? Why is that a holiday for state workers at 8:38?
But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say good morning to a very busy man. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, Donald Trump's campaign manager says the Republican presidential nominee does not plan to make the renewed Hillary Clinton email probe the focus of his message in the closing days of the election. Kellyanne Conway does say the FBI investigation shows Trump's Democratic rival is unqualified, adding she thinks it would take more than BleachBit to get rid of that kind of ethical stain. Donald Trump accusing Hillary Clinton of playing the victim card over the FBI's new email review.
Those polls are all before the bombshell of corruption that was additionally exposed for a second time on Friday.
At a rally in Colorado, the Republican presidential nominee says the newly discovered emails from Clinton's time as Secretary of State could be the bombshell that helps him win the election. Italy's premier pledging to find temporary housing for all of those displaced by a series of powerful earthquakes in several parts of the central area of that country. Jury selection starts today in the trial for a white ex-North Charleston, South Carolina police officer, Michael Slager. He's charged with murder in the shooting of an unarmed black driver, Walter Scott, last year. Trick-or-treaters in Chicago, nice weather. No tricks, just treats as temperatures reach the 60s today. Cubs earned themselves a return trip to Cleveland, extending the World Series to a sixth game with a 3-2 Game 5 win over the Indians. Last night, the Blackhawks winners over the Kings 3-0. Tonight at Soldier Field, Vikings and Bears Monday Night Football. Jay Cutler back at quarterback. The news, a service of Batteries Plus Bulbs. Right now at Batteries Plus Bulbs, save up to $10 on Duracell Ultra Lawn and Garden batteries after mail-in rebate. 23 locations in the Chicagoland area. See batteriesplus.com for details. Batteries Plus Bulbs. Trust the plus. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher calls some Republicans to the mat.
More and more Republicans are suddenly telling Trump to stop complaining about a rigged system in this election. You know why? Because of all the spineless Republicans who are refusing to help get this guy across the finish line and stop Hillary Clinton. And you know what? Frankly, I'd allege that's part of the rigged system, too.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
I own a fast food restaurant that was broken into early this morning. They tore the alarm panel right off the wall, and alarm detection systems came in the same day to replace it.
Same-day service is available to all our customers. Never worry about your security system. Get to know Alarm Detection Systems. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. That's 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
My daughter started school, and I find myself worrying if she is getting home safe while I'm still at work. I wish I could check up on her.
I've got a great answer for you. Alarm Detection Systems offers remote control of your security system from your phone. Get text or video alerts when someone's at your door. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
Did you know 40% of all cancer could be prevented? That's a fact. Along with maintaining appropriate body weight and regular exercise, the American Institute for Cancer Research and the USDA confirm that eating 9 to 11 servings of fruits and vegetables every day is the key. Now ask yourself, am I at risk? How many servings of fruits and vegetables did I eat today? Balance of Nature has solved this problem and provides an easy and affordable way to consume over 10 servings of 31 different whole fruits and vegetables every day.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Call now, 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
8:36. Check of the roads. AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Like the inbound Kennedy is jammed. Nagle to Ohio. After a stall, it's an hour and a half from O'Hare to downtown. An hour from Montrose. No savings in the express. Outbound 45 minutes downtown to the airport. Edens is 24 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 26. The Eisenhower, an hour and 4 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, 47 minutes from Manheim, outbound 55 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 57 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, and outbound 44. Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive, southbound, stop and go Bryn Mawr to North Avenue, and then it's slow 18th to the Stevenson, northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State heavy Ogden to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway slow from before Roselle to Meacham and Bussey to the Des Plaines Oasis. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Partly sunny and breezy. High near 60 today and 57 overnight. 46 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Airwaves. Check out the show that's all about making money in real estate every Sunday at noon on AM 560. The Answer.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Since Harry Reid brought up the Hatch Act and Jim Comey electioneering using his office to the advance of one party, so Harry Reid alleges, all of the sudden, I thought I'd just make mention of this. It's an unusual thing. Probably a lot of people don't know. But in Illinois, state workers get election day off. Do you get election day off at your job? Is election day a holiday for you where you work? I don't think so.
It's not a forced furlough day. This is actually, they just get the day off paid.
General Election Day is a paid state holiday for state workers.
How long has that been going on?
It's been going on for a while, I think in 1943.
Oh, the year you were born.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of a handful of states that have Election Day as a state holiday for their state workers. But
make sure that they get to the voting polls on time.
Oh, I think
they have all day to get there and vote.
I think it's a little bit more than voting, don't you? I think this is about state workers working elections. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Are we interrupting your phone?
No.
Oh, okay.
My phone's gone haywire. Don't do the updates, people. Don't do it.
Chris Mooney, the director of the Institute for Government and Public Affairs at U of I, said it can't be a good government thing because if it's just state employees, what about local employees? What about people in the private sector? I can't think of any good reason to do it. If it gets people to vote, then it ought to be for everybody. Right. It's not for everybody. It's for politicians, particularly perhaps politicians of a particular partisan stripe who disproportionately benefit from public sector unions who dispatch their rank and file to work on behalf of their campaigns to do poll watching, to do passing in front of your polling place, to do the GOTV program, whether it's knocking doors or making phone calls.
Or maybe driving people to the polling places.
Precisely. But this is something I just want you to know, because this is another one of these political ruling class advantages, particularly the big government portion of the political ruling class. I guess that's somewhat redundant. But state workers getting the day off when you don't, and what you think about that as it pertains to impacting the election, the whole conversation we've been having over the last several weeks about how elections are rigged to the benefit of those in charge, basically. The kind of the men of always, to borrow a narcos-ism, what's Pablo Escobar-ism, actually. Vince in Island Lake, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Sean's a moron.
I know that.
Well, it's not about them following the money. It's about following the corruption. They're all corrupt. That's why there's Republicans against Trump right now. They all use the IRS to, audit their enemies. Just ask anyone who's run up against Dick Durbin.
All right, thanks for the call, Vince. Yeah, I mean the whole argument about whether or not Obama would pardon Hillary Clinton after the election. That's the argument the discussion we were having. I suggested he likely to if she wins. He's likely to let her be thrown to the wolves if she loses because there's no love loss. And then the argument that's made is no, because Hillary Clinton has something on Obama. He's holding the money over. Do you think President Obama needs Hillary Clinton's money? What, you think he's going to go work for the Clinton Foundation after he gets out of office? That's absurd. That's the hysteria. It's foundationless. And that's, the argument that Sean was making, which those qualities are often emblematic of
what did
his
you call him, a
remarks.
fortune?
Well, he's talking like a fortune. Follow the money, follow. Yeah, okay, make an argument. Don't stake out a position. Yeah, so fill in the blanks, but instead we just have kind of the rinse and repeating these aphorisms. It's a bit tiresome. I'd like some dots connected. That's what I prefer. Ralph and Rantoul, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, sorry to the 2 or 3 state workers out there who put in an honest day's work, but isn't almost every day like a holiday to a lot of state workers? But more seriously, 2 things. The Never-Trumpers, I don't know how a Never-Trumper at this point can maintain any semblance of dignity or validity or even caring about the truth if they maintain the position that anybody except Trump, all right, is okay for office. really. I mean, with every day that passes, what we have talked about in jest is now being proven with documents that the Clintons are corrupt to the marrow of their bones. Every time they eat something and they create one new cell of themselves, it's corrupt. And it's always going to be corrupt. The second thing is, it's great that we're finding out all this now, but what about the non-serious people that are still going to go and vote for Hillary? Is it too late? I mean, even if she gets elected and let out in handcuffs, we still get her puppet little boy, Tim Kaine, who goes into office and continues all the Democrat policies. Perhaps he's not a strong person, though, and wouldn't be able to get his Supreme Court nominees and everything else, but he'll still do what the party wants. And that's what's going to continue to devastate this country, is the perpetuation of Obamacare, the wrecking of our Supreme Court for maybe the next 30, 40 years, the devastation of our Constitution. My God, people, wake up. How could you possibly support Hillary?
Thanks for the call, Ralph. And it's interesting because we had in this roundtable we had at the Freedom Summit on Saturday, Guy Benson, Mike Gallagher, and Yaron Brook from the Ayn Rand Institute. And so Yaron is an objectivist libertarian. He's not voting for either one of them. That was kind of built in. But Guy Benson, very cagey about his support, too.
He's tepid with his support.
And I'm not sure. I think he voted libertarian. That's my read on him saying, I've already voted and I voted against Hillary Clinton. And it was funny because, to Ralph from Rantoul's point, when Guy Benson was talking about Hillary Clinton and we were discussing the news that had broken on Friday, he said, well, Donald Trump, he may have said some bad things. He may have, done some bad things interpersonally, but nothing he ever did rose to the level of compromising our national security, rose to the level of selling off our government to foreign governments to the highest bidder. Like, well, didn't you just make the argument for Trump? I mean,
by saying that,
aren't we past the discussion of who is of inferior caricature at a personal level between the two of them, and to the kind of the record and what's been done? And it's very much like the conversations we have about incumbents in Chicago and in Illinois. If you're not willing to hold the person in charge responsible for what they have done while in office, if there's no accountability mechanism for the office holder, well, then you're not serious about a representative republic. Could Trump be a disastrous president? He could. It's possible. There's a lot of things that are possible with Donald Trump. There's a lot of concerns that I have personally with respect to Donald Trump presidency, but there's nothing in doubt about Hillary Clinton and what her presidency would mean for this country. There's nothing in doubt.
But I'll be pay to play. It'd be ambassadorships for her friends. It would be
that's a minimum.
That's a minimum. I mean, but that's all it would be was political paybacks.
And you think this cast of characters that has been circulating through the Clinton Foundation to the State Department to these affiliated consultancies, you think they go away? No, all we're doing is scaling it. It gets scaled from the
chief of staff, and
it gets scaled from the Senate,
Secretary of State,
to the Secretary to the State Department. Now to, as Trump said over the weekend in Vegas, now to the Oval Office. The entire executive branch of the government. The two are a difference in kind. It is not just a difference in degree. Lee in Hammond, Indiana, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, hi, guys. I think that one of the previous callers nailed it. What this whole election is about whether or not we're going to have rule of law in this country, or we're going to have a bunch of low information voters go by what the personalities and put somebody in there that they think is going to be more benign to them, and that's somebody that they actually would like to have a beer with or something. It's scary that a lot of these people are that ignorant.
Thanks for the call, Lee. By the way, those low information voters, some of the lowest information voters are the most educated in the most wealthy suburbs around Chicago. Just know what I know. So when low information voters is mentioned, I don't think of the west side or the south side of Chicago. I think of Glencoe. I think of Highland Park. I think of Northbrook. I think of all of these well-to-do suburban communities where you've got these sophisticated barbarians that do exactly what Lee just suggested. That's who the low information voters are. Ralph in Yorkville.
Yeah, first of all, I don't think there's going to be enough sophisticated barbarians to vote in that criminal.
Oh.
Not this time around.
I hope so.
Second, Amy, are you going to finally jump aboard the Trump train here, or are you going to go ahead and vote for a criminal yourself?
Oh, very good.
Thanks, Ralph.
As Michelle Malkin said on Saturday, I don't know if you watched or listened to her, she said we have to embrace the suck. She did.
You better explain what that means.
Well, that means because she did not, Donald Trump was not her first choice.
Right.
But the other choice that you have before you is Hillary Clinton, who is going to be behind bars soon. So she said you embrace the suck, that you're not happy with the candidate, but you have to embrace it.
Right, and you've said from the outset that you couldn't vote for Hillary Clinton, but you were having a difficult time from time to time over the course of the campaign.
With Donald Trump and the comments that he's made.
Yeah, right, like a lot of people were. But you
can evolve after 11 years. I mean, when he said that with Billy Bush, you can change after 11 years. It is possible.
I think that's a good sign, Ralph from Yorkville.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Coming up next, did Ronnie Woo Woo get in to see any of the World Series games here at Wrigley Field? We have the answer. And why was Bill Murray being the suffering fuck of that, or acting like a Daffy Duck? We'll explain. But first, here's your forecast. Great for trick-or-treating today. Yes, it is Halloween. It is October 31st. Wow. Sunshine, breezy, a high of 60 degrees. Tonight, a low of 57. And tomorrow, just a spectacular day, warmer with some sun and clouds, a high of 74. Let's get those travel times. How's the inbound Kennedy doing? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Oh, Amy, you've got a Halloween horror show waiting for you. It's just a mess. From Nagel to Ohio. It was heavy anyway, then there was a stall there, so we're looking at an hour and 16 minutes, so here to downtown. That's actually a bit of an improvement. It was an hour and a half. 47 minutes from Montrose, 46 in the Express, outbound 45 downtown to the airport. Edens, 23 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 26. The Eisenhower, an hour and 4 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 55 minutes. The Stevenson, 57 minutes still from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 43. The Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tollways are lighter than normal. It's heavy on the northbound Tri-State, Ogden to 31st, and from the Eisenhower to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway, a little heavy approaching Bussey. Westbound slow, Lee to Bussey after a crash. Other tollways are good. Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents a story about pickles.
It's 2 a.m. and your pregnant wife needs pickles. So you pick up some green happiness, but hit a parked car. Great, something else to worry about. Luckily, Liberty Mutual Insurance has 24/7 claims assistance, so you can take care of your claim right away. Problem solved. Now, if only you bought the right pickles.
Visit a local office or call 844-8-LIBERTY. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company.
An important message from Medicare.
I found a better deal on prescriptions.
I found a new plan with lower costs.
It's Medicare open enrollment. Have you compared plans yet? Who knows what you might find?
Check out your options at Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
You never know unless you go.
Medicare open enrollment, October 15th through December 7th. Brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services.
A couple years ago, I had a severe accident which disabled my right hand and caused chronic pain and complete suffering. It took many years before really we figured out exactly what it was or how to treat it. My whole goal was I did not want to be on high levels of pain medicine. After some time, I went to see Dr. Kenneth Candido to try to figure out the source of the pain and a solution and how to solve it. He listens. I'm going to cry because it's so real. I've been through so much, and he wants to help his patients, and he's there for me whenever I need him.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. I have a simple message for you. If you or someone you love or someone you know has chronic pain, contact us. Treating chronic pain issues is what we do. We can make it better. Get an appointment and let's talk. MyPainChicago.com, MyPainChicago.com. All the info is available at MyPainChicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy. So, Amy, the Cubs won yesterday, as Stratomatic predicted. So
Yeah,
it's
let's
kind of a
Talk about
non-event.
this Stratomatic, because they were spot on for Game 3. They predicted it would be 1-0. See, I didn't say 1-0. 1-0, the Indians, and they were correct. And then Game 4, they predicted again beautifully.
And
then
Game 5, they predicted as well.
Yeah, so do you want to tell them, or should I, what's going to happen in Game 6?
What?
Oh, see?
Hello. Hi.
They know maybe we shouldn't tell people.
Game 6 is what I predicted would happen. Stratomatic and I are on the same page.
Yes.
That's a lot of intellectual firepower behind this prediction, which is the Indians close it out in 6 games.
Yeah, they have the Indians winning 7-2.
Mm-hmm.
So I have tickets for the game for tomorrow night. I was going to fly there after the show, go to the game, and then drive back. Do you think that I should do that?
It's a 5-hour drive, so you'd be pulling into right about the time we start the show. Perfect.
What could go wrong?
Yeah, I like
I could
it.
fall asleep at the wheel. I could hitchhike and get in with a trucker. See what happens.
You could do that too. I don't know if that would be faster because it's
It'd be
it's
safer
the same
because
distance.
I wouldn't be driving.
Oh, I get you could do your
Right.
your studying while
Exactly.
in the back of the rig, I suppose. Yeah, so well, you should go.
You think I should go?
Oh, it's a once in 108-year extravaganza.
But if they're going to lose,
Or at least 71
do I want to see them lose and watch all those Cleveland Indian fans jumping up and down like, hey, we won the World Series, kind of like what our fans do
Yeah.
when we win. But last night's game, 3 runs scored in the 4th inning.
Yeah, I know.
Did
yes.
you want me? Can I? May I? Oh.
On the board right here.
So, for those of you who think that, Mark Greco is the only one who offers stale sports highlights, no, we've offered him this show, too. That's Amy's bailiwick. By the way, the most important thing I learned over the weekend, watching the Cubs games, and I watched all 3.
Yes, I watched one with you, and I don't want to watch baseball.
On Saturday when we were at the Freedom Summit.
Oh, no, I mean,
Freedom
we were
Fest,
listening. We were just peeking in on the game, just checking in.
The most important thing I learned was that Ben Zobrist is married to Khaleesi, mother of dragons. And so I can understand why he's been so hot this postseason.
Do you think she's from Eureka? Oh, wait, I have to tell you. Ronnie Woo Woo, by the way, got into the game. He got into Game 3 and into Game 4.
Oh, fine. The nation can breathe a collective sigh of relief.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
You know what? I want to tell you something, America.
The Joe Walsh Show.
We ask our cops to do an ugly, impossible job. And way too many of us hate on them every day. I'll tell you what, America, you are going to wake up, so help me God, America, you are going to wake up one day without police officers in this country. And you will deserve it.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Get out and have some fun. Visit ChicagoRadioDeals.com for a fun night out on the town. Grab your sweet Caroline and make a date to listen to your favorite music. Direct from their Midwest tour is Denny Diamond and the Jewels, featuring the music of, you guessed it, Neil Diamond. Normally it's $76